Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count. When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
It's a beautiful morning, and I welcome you to another episode of the Morning Buzz on Voice of the People Television. I am Nenna Ndomdioto, and I'm not alone. I have...
When you use the word "I'm not alone," I have, and you're making it look so special and all. But regardless, good morning to you, Nenna. And welcome to the program. It is Morning Buzz, of course, another wonderful, exciting, and it promises to be fun, of course, and more educating edition of the Morning Buzz. My name remains Xavier Udo. And of course, top on our radar this morning, we'll be looking at the situation surrounding the election period ahead of 2027 general elections. Atiku raises alarm over strange deposits. And of course, Oshun account of freezed, Tinubu orders EFCC to back down. Now, we have all of this particular conversation that we'll be talking about this morning, but it's safe to say it's been a while that we actually came on the set together. So I must talk about that particular one.
Yeah, it's very true. Okay, these are the major topics of discussion for today. However, we also have other interesting and trending stories. And before we proceed, we urge you to kindly click on the subscription button and subscribe to our YouTube channel on Voice of the People Television. On other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. Also, visit our website, www.vop.ng, for fresh and trending news. As we always say, as Voice of the People Television, your opinion matters to us. Therefore, we encourage you to call and share your thoughts and reactions via WhatsApp on 090. Of course, the number is already, scrolling on your screen, because here we have more than a voice. Well, let's proceed to one of the interesting stories that came up over the weekend. 27 suspected hoodlums have been arrested in Lagos for allegedly vandalizing a newly constructed bridge by removing reinforcement metals and other structural materials from the facility. The suspects were reportedly caught while allegedly breaking into parts of the bridge and attempting to cut away materials used to strengthen the structure. The arrest have renewed concerns over the growing threat of vandalism to public infrastructure, particularly facilities that are built with taxpayers' money and intended to improve transportation and safety for residents. Authorities say the suspects are being investigated over their alleged involvement in a criminal act. Development also raises a wider concern about the safety and durability of public infrastructure in Lagos, where government continues to commit huge resources to road and bridge construction. Beyond immediate financial loss, the alleged removal of reinforcement materials from a bridge could potentially compromise the integrity of the structure and expose motorists and other road users to danger if such damage is left unchecked. The arrest therefore comes as a warning to vandals and those who buy stolen government property, as authorities intensify efforts to protect public assets. When I read this, and I asked myself, Why is it that Nigerians, it looks like we're the ones killing ourselves? How can you go vandalize something that public would use? You don't even know if, of course, when you steal some of those things, the safety or the durability of those things are brought to question. And then this is lives, people's lives that you're joking with. You don't even know if your family member would even be, let's even take, you understand? Because really, you don't even know who applied that route. And then you are doing that kind of thing. It just brings us to the fact that we don't take responsibility as people, as a people. Yes, we call the government, we say government did this, government didn't do this. But as a people, what are we even doing? And you begin to ask yourself, why would someone, yes, you would say there's hunger in the land, right? There's so much hunger in the land. But does that mean that you should now go vandalize property? And this is not the first time. We get to see this a lot. Maybe it has come to the point where we need to, I don't know, maybe we should put CCTV. And so that we can get the exact people, really. I don't know. What do you think?
All right, so Nina, first, I think to an extent, I would tow, your thoughts, the line of your thoughts for, some seconds before, I move off from there. First, we're a reflection of our government. When you have, public offices, when you have government officials, indulging themselves in the frivolities of corruption, do you understand? And you get to call them out. That's all, they are stealing this, they are doing this. But we're also a reflection of these people, because if we're opportune, if some Nigerians are opportune to actually be there, they will do worse. And not only that. Now, when we look at some structures in the country and you decide to take from it, to resell, that means you are not a patriotic citizen of that country. And you don't mean well, for that particular country. And the reason why I would, want to talk about this at large, this is not just about a Lagos thing, right? Back then I remembered that the FCT, minister needed, he had to put some, special units on the road. So they get to raid from 12 a.m. to about 3 or 4 a.m. Because these guys were literally going to the express in Abuja and removing drainage covers. Those manholes, they were removing them to sell that particular iron. It happened in Kaduna. It has happened in different states. Now, my question, when you remove whatsoever materials that is being used, to build a bridge, a new road for you to resell, do you think you're really doing the government? Let's call a spade a spade. Just like you mentioned, you don't even know if your family will apply that road because you're weakening that particular bridge, you're weakening the construction, and what have you. The government, how many times do they actually deploy the road? Most of them use either chopper or they use their private jet and land at a very nearby place, and some would just, pick a chopper and, they land and that's it. So how many times, even to the popular Third Milan Bridge, mention how many government officials, apply that road? Because they know there's traffic. So you are also endangering the life of your own family. And tomorrow you would say they didn't do road or they are not constructing new bridges, they are not doing more roads. I'm not taking any bridge for the government because I'm going to get to their point. And this is why sometimes the Nigerian government don't also take us serious. But should I also blame the people when poverty has been weaponized? The United Nations said that Nigerians, about 61% of Nigerians are living below poverty line. That is beyond average. So it means that everyone now is looking for a way to fend for themselves to make two ends meet. Because we don't think we have the patience to wait till the end of the tunnel where we would see the light. That was what they told us. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. You have the patience. Some even said you have to take your torch, while going through, the tunnel. So what are we saying?
Well, some would ask, how long is this tunnel?
How long is it? Because this is the first tunnel that we have entered. We don't know where we are. We don't know when we are coming out. We don't even know how we got here. That's the question. So basically, for me, This is the real situation. These are the issues, like your program, right? So basically, these are the issues. But when you take taxpayers' money, when you take public funds to start, constructing projects for the people, which is laudable faith, but what are you also doing to protect it? You have to secure the life of people and secure your project. No, we've gotten to that point.
I was just going to ask, should we get to that point?
No, but we have, Nina.
Exactly, we have, really.
You mentioned one. We need the CCTV. We need a rapid response unit doing their,
Plying the routes,
just let them just be plying every route. Let's even know who and who is moving. Something happened around my area yesterday. One of the neighbors, it saw, a particular, guy that is not frequent in that area. I think they pick all these, be it pets, bottles and all of that for recycling. And he said, I've been seeing you sit in that particular place. If anything, goes missing in this area, I will look for you. You know what that means? It means that we know everybody that lives in this particular place, right? And should anything happen in this area or should anything go missing, I assure you, we will look for you and we know you are the first suspect. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that guy will ever come to that area again. What are the government doing? The Minister of Works has been constructing roads. So if you say you are constructing, for example, you're constructing they've resumed the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway construction again. They've resumed work. Now, once the workers are done by 7 p.m., everybody goes. What happens? Pay the local vigilantes. Let the rapid response units, always do their normal check and drive around town. Or pay local vigilantes in the area, just like we do in our estates or wherever you live. Put CCTV if there is need for it. And I think at some point we have to understand that this allegedly situation that we usually mention, if you saw constructing materials with them, that means they stole it now. Which one is you are doing investigation again? The only investigation I feel they should be doing is how many of you or who is the channel,
yes,
who did you sell it
exactly.
to, who sends you and all of that. But don't say this one that you have arrested is still allegedly. I'm not getting it. It's not. No, it's not tallying.
So like you mentioned, the chain is actually supposed to be investigated.
Yes.
Because really, if they don't have someone to buy from them, they won't
steal it.
They won't steal, rather.
Yes.
And the annoying thing is those who are buying from them, you will know that this is a stolen, because someone who is not into business.
Black markets.
You will know it's stolen goods, really.
Oh, disclaimer. But the fact that I know what they call it does not mean I know. I judge myself.
Maybe we should suspect you. Maybe we should ask you what you do after work hours, because really I didn't say well. Well, it's black market because we know that it's self-filled.
Yes.
On the road, and anything that is not
that's the thing.
That is not bought from the exact point is really.
So those are the main crooks, and not these ones here.
No, these ones are also no. Don't. They are also the.
These ones are just the middle boys. They pick, they go to sell, they resell. Do you know that there's a level these guys would vandalize a lot of construction, materials that they can use that same materials to go and, seek for another client somewhere. Because if you're talking about iron rod, for example, if you're talking about maybe asphalt, that's the quota they pour, maybe the gallons of the chemicals they get to apply, we have different kinds of, the concrete. We have all manner of materials that makes a bridge, that makes a road. So who is the person that is buying from them? We need to know the chain. That's why I love the NDLEA. There is no week they don't pick these people when it comes to drug cases. Yeah. And they're really doing their very best to see how to get to the main source. Because there has to be a cartel that is controlling this thing. So the same way we have cartel for drugs, should we say they have cartel for
vandalism of public infrastructure? Let's move on. Let's move on to our next conversation.
Okay. Okay.
Shall we?
So basically, tragedy has struck Seki in Oyo State after a bullion van reportedly traveling at a very high speed and, of course, crashed into three students riding on a motorcycle, killing two of them and leaving one critically injured. The incident reportedly occurred on Thursday along the Mac Polytechnic axis and, of course, MAK Polytechnic axis opposite Sharon Rose School and, of course, in Saki. According to reports, the bullion van allegedly struck the motorcycle carrying the three students and waiter, in fact, killing one of the victims, at the scene, while the other two sustained, varying degrees of injury. The incident has reportedly thrown the area into mourning. As residents and other road users, grapple with the loss of students in what is being described as a tragic, road crash. The survivor is said to be receiving medical attention, while the circumstances surrounding the crash are expected to be investigated by the relevant authorities. The tragedy has once again brought road safety concerns to the front burner, as particularly, the danger associated with speeding and reckless driving around busy communities and school environments. All right, this is quite a very, sad situation there. And now I think I should be coming in from the part of our banks. I understand that bullion vans, in other climes, anywhere at all, was meant to go with escort and they were meant to go at a certain, speed. But every bullion van is protected both in front, and of course behind. And I think it is even only in Nigeria that sometimes you get to see, a bullion van being protected, being escorted by just one, security van. But we have to understand that every road has a limit. Sincerely, we have to get that fact. The major reason why we have security, patrol escorting, a bullion van is for the security of that particular bullion van, be it loaded or not. But the fact that we keep that particular, pace of speed is what we should really look into. Every road, has a speed limit, just like I mentioned, Third Mainland, for example, there are places you drive 60 and afterwards you move to 80, 70, I don't think there's anywhere on Third Mainland that says 100, for example. Now, I know all of the Keja axis, reads 70 to 60. But in every area that concerns school has been reduced to 60, some even 50. So, in as much as we'll talk about speed bumps, there were meant to be humps on every major places, but we have to understand that schools areas are different from, major express, in as much as we have local government, roads, we have, the state roads, we have the federal roads. Don't bring the speed, you can drive on federal roads on state road. And don't take the speed of state road to local government road, which has to be about, the rural areas. This is quite very sad, a situation. Regardless of, every investigation that will be done, it's still boiling down to speed. And that's just it. Because there is no how you would tell us that a motorcycle can actually be faster than a V6 engine, for example, which I believe all bullion vans are V6s. Maybe more are even V8, but this is the truth. This is the reality. So who should we even hold accountable as regards to this? Is it the bank? The drivers? And now some people are even saying that they don't want road safety in their states anymore. We understand that some, officials might, do too much, but to an extent, I think the presence of road safety, has really curbed a lot of, accidents, on the way because on the road, but once you know that, you would definitely see them. So, for example, let me use, our roads here as example. When once you're getting close to the international airport, before you get to the toll gate, you know that every evening you would always see road safety. Naturally, you know. So first, your papers will be complete. Secondly, you can't drive carelessly. if you're coming inward from Oshodi to, our office or this international airport road, you just know that you would see some police there at checkpoint. So what am I saying? I think at some point we just have to have, some personnel, on the road, the Federal Safety Corps. If you want to tell us that we don't need them, but I assure you we need them, because I think these are the people that once you see them, you slow down. And not only that, I think the Oyo State government should also do what the Lagos State government has actually, brought into the, transportation system. And what am I talking about? That is the CCTV, speed limit. So once there's a speed limit on this particular road, there's a camera. And once you go beyond it, they just pick your plate number. They know you will still be around, and they'll flag you off somewhere, and you pay a fine. Maybe when people start paying fines, do you understand? And particular tension would reduce. But this is quite a very sad one. I would have started with this one before.
Yeah, you actually said it earlier that it's a very sad one, really. And like you said, there's a need for, checks and balances, really. The way overspeeding, it's a big problem in Nigeria. Not even the educated ones. I was going to say the literate, but even the educated ones, even those who, when they leave the shores of the country, they respect themselves. By the time they come back to Nigeria, it looks like the knots in their heads have been removed, and everybody just begins to, act anyhow on the road. Our drivers, drive on a very, very fast speed, and it's heartbreaking. Sometimes you're in a commercial bus and your heart is literally in your mouth.
Everybody has to be.
For someone like me who is always very scared, I'm always very scared of the road, of driving and all of that. I'm literally shout like this easy, but they don't even care. Sometimes when you even tell them to take it easy, they are driving. It looks like your words are making them want to, speed the more, or run faster, or drive faster. So really, attention should be paid to this. Like you mentioned, fines. And when we get to that point where fines are being paid, that just brings the question: what is the government doing? You mentioned the FRSC, the Federal Road Safety Corps. What are they doing really? Yes, they are doing something, but they should do more. They should find things that they can do to ensure that these things are put in check. These children have died, or these students, they've died. Their lives can't come back. We can't bring them back to life. And who now takes responsibility, really?
Okay.
Who takes responsibility of this? Is it the driver? Is it the
bank?
The bank?
But that's a very big question on our decks this particular morning. But just like you mentioned, I wanted to pick up, from there, talking about, our. I think we need proper sensitization of driving ethics again in Nigeria. Basically, are you aware that once you leave the shores of this country, to maybe Canada, UK, US, guess what? When you go back to the driving school, you don't pass at once. Hardly before you see any Nigerian pass in Canada at the second, test. It means that you fail the first one, you go again, you will fail again. I'm sorry. It is that bad. Because if we are to talk about it, do you know some of my friends see me as arcade because they feel I am old school? You know why? They said I went to driving school. So who goes to driving school? Do you understand? And guess what? They learned so many years ago, maybe decades ago, like 10 years ago and whatever they've been driving. But the question is, who goes to driving school? And whenever I talk about me going to driving school and learning with B2, do you understand? And they say, who needs all of that particular one? Your thing, you like to be... No. Now, that is where the problem lies. And the biggest issue here is that if you decide to put a complaint number on every commercial vehicles, I assure you that thing would not work. Have you not seen it where, in a school bus, where you get to put, a certain number. If the driver is overspeeding, call this number. Guess what? We even made a joke out of it because when you call the number, it is the driver that picked the call and say, ooh, I don't change the number. I'm the person who want to report me to my school and all of that. Well, what are we saying here? On a very, that was on a lighter note, but on a very serious note now. we have to understand that we need a proper, sensitization of driving ethics in this country. So the job of Ministry of Information and National Orientation Agency cut across all of this particular situation. As good as Abuja is, Abuja has the biggest road network, the biggest lanes, 4 or 6 going and 6 back. But guess what? If you Google it, if you check it, it's in the public domain. Abuja has the highest accidents, so far in Nigeria. So it means that speed is part of us.
Overspeeding.
Or I think overspeeding is fine. Because tell me the reason why you are driving 120, 140 in a state road and not a federal road. And even on federal roads, except for roads that you know that at least you'll be driving for a straight road for 3 kilometers without turning. And the highest is 120. And some people will push 140, 150. It's really sad.
Yeah, very sad.
The Lord Almighty would help, the families,
Yes,
of the disease, because that's all I can actually say. It's only God that can console them. It's not about what the government would say they want to give them as compensation. If you give them how many millions, is it going to bring their child back? Think of how they, gave birth to the child, raised the child from primary to secondary, and now in polytechnic, and this, children are dead. So what should we say? But that's just it.
Yeah, may the souls of the dead rest in peace, really. But our government really needs to do a lot when it comes to, like you said, sensitizing Nigerians on overspeeding, because many Nigerians, literate, illiterate, have this problem. But before we move on, we'll take a break, and when we return, our newspaper review would come up. Just stay with us.
Big news is here. Your favorite Voice of the People television station is now on free to air on Nigecomsat. All you need to do is align your dish using the following: orbit position 40.5 degrees east, 12.685 gigahertz, 30,000 kilobytes per second. Polarized vertical, frequency 2, 12.731 gigahertz, symbol rate 26,250 kilobytes per second. Polarization H. This works on any decoder. Catch up to 100 channels, sports, movies, news, all for free. This is with better quality at no extra cost. VOP TV on Free TV. Now you have more than a voice.
The rains are here. They bring relief, green fields, and fresh water. But they can also bring danger if we are not careful. Rule 1. Avoid flood waters. Never walk, wade, or drive through moving flood water. Fast-moving water can sweep you off your feet, and that water may hide open drains, sharp objects, or live electric cables. Rule 2. Stay away from weak structures and slopes. Heavy rain can weaken buildings, walls, and hillsides. Avoid sitting on the old buildings, billboards, or trees. If your area is prone to landslides, report cracks or soil movement to emergency agencies immediately. Rule 3. Protect yourself from lightning and accidents. Stay indoors during thunderstorms. Avoid open fields, tall trees, and metal objects. If you must travel, drive slowly. Use your headlights and never use an umbrella near power lines or while riding. And Rule 4. Stay healthy. Clear your gutters to stop mosquitoes that causes malaria. Boil or filter your drinking water. Keep food covered to avoid cholera and typhoid. And wash your hands often. This rainy season, stay alert, stay prepared, stay alive. This message is brought to you by Voice of the People Television.
In a world where power shifts its every headlines, News breaks and events happens. We bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People Television, where your health has a voice.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window.
Glad to have you back. You're still watching the Morning Buzz on Voice of the People Television. Let's now move on to what we have on the papers today. Let's start with Saturday Telegraph, which comes with the banner headlines. Jonathan signed documents himself, ready to contest against Tinubu and others. And this is by PDP. Saturday Telegraph. The subrider on that particular paper says ex-president is going about it in a dignified manner. Another subrider says, insists Jonathan has best chance to defeat the incumbent. Another subrider there is UK team to convey parties' concerns over intimidation through established channels. Above the masthead, we have one of my dad's dying wishes was to sustain the punch as fitting legacy. That's by Aboderin's daughter, Wumi Obe. And then also above the masthead, we have suspicious transfer into account. Atiku alleged attempt to smear reputation. Also, another headline we have on the Saturday Telegraph, we have all is not fair in politics, Mr. President. And the subriders we have there are things you can do and cannot do. Okay, these are said by, some very notable Nigerians, Sage, Galadima, Agbakoba, Olaito, and Igali. And, in response to the president's statement that all is, in response to the president's statement that all is fair in politics, they're saying all is not fair in politics, Mr. President. So they're telling Mr. President that. And the subriders here is, there are things you can do and cannot do. Another subrider there is, that's tantamount to opening up polity to chaos and lawlessness. Also, all is fair in politics when we obey the rules. Also, flay timing of EFCC's freeze of Osun government account. Another headline we have there is Dangote achieved extraordinary feat, says Goldman Sachs. Okay, that's all for Saturday Telegraph.
All right, let's move straight to a Punch, Saturday Punch, where we have the banner headline says EFCC balls in sack storm over Osun. Of course, we have riders to those stories. Accord, NNPP, netizens demand Olukoyode's removal. The FCC independence of faces scrutiny. Falana tackles president. Commission froze 3 account documents. Right, and of course, above the net place there, we have 13 died, 12 children remain in Kwara terrorist den. Of course, writers of that particular story says 7 women lost babies in 6 months captivity, says a survivor. And of course, beneath there, we have help. Mom died without showing me my father, a baker. This is coming from a baker. And of course, we have deadly crossing now, declining footbridge use turns highway into a killing field. Arasta denied visa over wrong, of course, certificate. That's a South African situation. Family questions my son's paternity, maltreated my wife. This is coming from artist Mr. P, talking about P Square. And of course, real reason Tinubu expanded army division. This is coming from military source. But of course, these are just the 2 major dailies we'll be taking this morning before we dive into the major conversation. But of course, joining us in the studio, we have Mr. Lawa Ekundayo, who is a social and political analyst. Good morning, Mr. Lawa. Thank you so much for being part of the program today. I think it is almost the first time again. Oh, yes, that we're actually, on air together on Saturday. All right, and of course, joining us for the very first time, talking about, my set now. We have Barrister Eze Eluche, attorney at law, and of course, a public and political affairs analyst. Good morning, Barrister.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you very much for having me. And it is Eze Eluche, not Barrister Eze Eluche.
Okay, Esquire. Okay.
Esquire, yes.
Thank you so much
that's
for
the
that.
new rules.
Thank you so much for that particular. So, Barrister, okay, I think I need to just clear the air on that.
Yes.
We were told that the male lawyer's barrister is fine than the female, but I don't know.
No. I mean, barrister is a professional. It's one of the things you do as a professional, as a lawyer. So you can't just say, because when you advocate in court, you are a barrister.
Okay.
So you don't need to say nurse,
okay.
and so.
So
I'm just, yes.
Okay.
And you see that most times people who ascribe titles to themselves are very empty. So I'm just Eze Eluche, and then maybe when I speak, they will now know that I'm a lawyer.
Okay. I think I love that particular one. And of course, for the SAN, we call them the learned silk. I think that's,
well, that's still in question.
Okay. All right. Joining us from Benin studio, we have Comrade Ibrahim Momo. I believe Comrade is there. He's a lecturer of political science and, of course, a public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Comrade. All right. So let me bring it to the studio. Let me start off with you, Mr. Lawa. Which of the dailies would you want to pick to react to quickly before we move to the main conversation? You heard the newspaper either from Saturday Telegraph or you'd want to talk about that of the Punch, newspaper.
Okay. I may talk about the one which Atiku voiced out, money that was transferred to his account.
Okay. Well, because it's still part of the main conversation,
okay.
So we would ask you to pick any other one, or should we just move over? Barrister,
Okay.
would you want to respond?
Yes, I think the issue of Jonathan, the one I think that was Telegraph,
Okay.
where the PDP said he signed it personally. I think it's an embarrassment to the country if somebody who was the former president will go about contesting in a very surreptitious way. I mean, if he's coming out to contest, why doesn't he come out and be very factual about it? Why all this hiding hanky-panky stuff? It will not go all well for Mr. Jonathan if that's what he's really doing, because it appears that he's being used. He's being used, and then I don't know what purpose. Because even the people in Otuoke, his hometown, will not even vote for this man. Because while he was president, he was a natural disaster also. I mean, even the road to Otuoke, his hometown, was built by Muhammadu Buhari when Buhari came in. So let him sign whatever, but the whole idea of hiding around to come and sign is ludicrous. And that flows alongside the next issue, which is also behind that, about all is fair in politics. You see, that is still the mindset Mr. Tinubu used to steal his way to the presidency. Because when he said he will grab, snatch, and run with it, you see that same mindset. And it's not really strategic. It's criminal. Because you don't grab what is not yours and run with it. If it is yours, people will give it to you. But when you say all is well in politics, that's like a bandit language. And I hope that That is not what Mr. Atiku will be bringing to 2027, and Nigerians will be ready to tell him all is not fair in politics. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Ezeluche Esquire. All right, moving ahead, we have the situation, of course, which Mr. Lawa, did a touch on. Ahead of a 2027 general election, Atiku raises alarm over strange deposits. Who is the particular ghost, giver that we don't know? But of course, we're talking about this and more. Just do what to stay with us. Let's go on a quick break. As soon as we return, we'll be dissecting the major conversation here. Don't go nowhere, please.
Glad to have you back. Let's jump into details of the story. Former Vice President and African Democratic Congress presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar has raised alarm over what he describes as an unauthorized and suspicious payment into one of his private bank accounts. Atiku, in a statement issued by his senior special assistant on public communication, Frank Shaibu, says this transaction was made by an individual or entity unknown to him and carried the narration contribution electioneering campaign. He insists neither he nor his campaign organization solicited, authorized, or had any knowledge of the payment. The former vice president says the development is particularly disturbing because the affected account is strictly private and its details are not publicly available, raising questions over how an unknown person obtained his confidential banking information. Atiku says the alleged breach goes beyond his personal situation, warning that if the private banking details of a former vice president and presidential candidate can be accessed and used without his consent, the financial privacy of ordinary Nigerians could also be at risk. He further raises concern that the information may have been obtained through persons with privileged access, saying such a breach, if established, could expose account holders to fraudsters, kidnappers, terrorists, and other criminal elements. Atiku also alleges that the development could be an attempt at character assassination, but insists it will not distract him from his political ambitions. Still, with us in the studio to help us analyze this story, we have Mr. Lawal Ekundayo, who is a public affairs analyst, also an educationist. And also we have Ezeluche Esquire. He is an attorney at law and a public and political affairs analyst. Once again, glad to have you join us. Let me start with you, Mr. Lawal. Let me start with you. What do you make of this? A deposit, like Atiku mentioned, if an account of a former vice president, a presidential candidate can be accessed, where does it leave you and I, really?
One thing is this. Depositing money in somebody's account is not something that the moment you know that person's account number and the bank, you can easily send money there. So that is not a...
It's the issue here is the fact that they've got the account number. That is what he's saying.
Account number flies all over the place. But the thing is this, the other part of it is about you yourself. Somebody can mistakenly send money into your account. It's possible. Maybe made a mistake with the number, just transfer. It can happen.
Yeah.
But the thing is, your own integrity as the receiver. Is it your money? Is it not? If it's not your own, and you are not expecting the money, you leave it, you don't touch it. And then you raise the alarm by maybe going to the bank and letting the bank know that so amount entered my bank my account, and then I don't know where it comes from. Please, just keep it in hold, pending when somebody comes along and say, oh, sorry, I made a mistake. Or maybe somebody sent money you didn't know to you and say, sorry, I dash you. It's a gift. You are gifted. That's different. But when you yourself now decided to spend the money, and then I discover later that money maybe was mistakenly sent to your account or something like that. So it now depends on the receiver. You get it? To show your character, your value. The third one is that when there are consequences, even when you want, if you have that bad character, maybe you have this covetousness to want to spend the money. If there are consequences in the society in such a way that such people are actually dealt with, it will also act as a check and balance. Because you know that if I spend this money, even if I feel like spending the money, I know that there are consequences. It will affect me so much that I will pay like 10 over more than 500% of that money. I will go to jail. And so you do the right thing. Those are the three things that is involved in this thing. That's why you see societies that are progressing. There are always consequences whatsoever for your actions. It could be marriage. It could be even cleaning the gutters, or doing community service. It could be as mild as even you writing an attestation that you'll be of good behavior. You will not, get involved in even as small as tiny as you get, so that when there are consequences, it puts checks and balance on the society, and then everybody move on as fairly as possible.
Okay, when you talked about transferring money into one's account, I think our society really, because I have that personal experience. I mistakenly sent money into someone's account in January 2024. I can never forget in my life. Till today, I've not gotten that money back. I kept going to the bank, and the bank could see that I was the one who transferred this money, but they didn't do anything about it. They kept pushing me back and forth till I decided to forget the money. But I think the question here is, this particular money has contribution electioneering campaign to it. So when you look at that narration, it now begins to ask, you begin to wonder, this is not like a mistake. This is intentional. So I don't know, I want to hear Barry. I was going to call you Barrister. I want to hear your take.
Well, thank you very much. Mr. Bola Tinubu says all is fair in politics. So we're in the political era. So the reality is that we must just oppose these things that happen in that realm. And when you look at what the funds being talked about, like you rightly said, it was titled electioneering campaigns, whatever. So it was clearly political. And Mr. Atiku says it came in from an account that he has no idea where it's coming from. If we understand that one of the main issues of the candidature of Mr. Bola Tinubu is the fact that he $460,000 monies related to drugs and money laundering was found in his account, and which he had to forfeit, you now begin to locate or situate the seriousness of this issue. Now, the scare of the Atiku team is that they don't even know where this money is coming from. Is it related to drug trafficking? Is it related to terrorism? Is it related to whosoever? How did this money just come? And it is tagged electioneering campaigns, which means even if there's a limit to the monies this man can receive for his campaigns, this amount affects it. So clearly, this is political. You now begin to ask yourself, who has access to Mr. Atiku's personal data? One of the major culprits, sadly, is either the EFCC, because they have virtual access. They have access to virtually everybody's account in this country. The NFIU, the Financial Intelligence Unit, and the staff in the bank where he worked, where he has this account located. So the reality is this: there needs to be an investigation to this. But who will undertake the investigation? Is it the same Mr. Tinubu says all is fair in politics? Is it? Can we really trust these characters? The reality is that this portends very grave signals for our political era, for the next elections, because there is already some kind of desperation being exhibited by the incumbent, by Mr. Tinubu, to show that he will do whatsoever, even if it means putting $1 billion into an opponent's account. He will do whatsoever to try to tarnish the image of his opponents. And all the two major opposition politicians who are trying to converse for presidency, they should guard their loins, because this is just a taste of what will happen. I wouldn't be surprised with the advent of AI and all this to see either Mr. P2B in the midst of nude women, or even Mr. Atiku Abubakar. These kind of things will happen because we have a presidency which is so desperate, and they want to do everything to get what they want. Yes.
You just permit me.
Yes.
Barrister.
Mr. Please.
You mentioned the word AI again.
Yes.
So are you taking a brief for Adams Oshomole, who we actually saw, inside the private jets? And he said it was AI. Akpabio, of course, this person also, through Java.
Adams Oshomole never said it was AI.
Oh,
it was
really?
Akpabio
That's
who suggested it would be AI.
Okay.
But I'm just trying to say the reality is this. As we approach the political era, the electioneering era, we should realize that more of this will happen.
Okay.
Yes,
let me come to you. And I think we have to call a spade a spade. First, is it possible for someone to get access to Atiku Abubakar, a former vice president of this nation? And of course, regardless, that is also a presidential candidate, a former vice president of a nation, without the help of an insider. That's one.
Yes.
What does this say about our data protection as a normal citizen? Now, if we have to talk about this data protection, to an extent, we've been hearing that some banks, have been hacked, and now you said the ruling party are really doing a lot. Perhaps they might be, the first suspect, and of course you said we shouldn't be surprised Mr. Peter Obi might also be found, in the midst of nude women as regards to AI. Now, who should carry out this investigation? Is it the CBN? Is it the NIBSS? Is it the NDPC? Who should actually carry this investigation?
Well, thank you very much. With regards to having the account of an individual, because Mr. Atiku is an individual, it doesn't really require much. Virtually all the banking staff in a bank branch where you have your account know the name of the account and who owns it. So it's not just restricted to maybe the manager or the account man or your account manager. Anybody who even goes through the bank customer list will see, okay, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and they know the account number.
But someone has not mistakenly sent to you a nice account.
No, they wouldn't, because they know you will spend yours. I would actually spend my own. But the reality is this. So the issue is not just the fact that they knew or accessed his account. Unless maybe he had the account he's talking about is domiciled maybe in Switzerland, where they have all these secrecy codes. But in Nigeria, there's no such code. In Nigeria, once you're a bank staff or once you have dealings with even the bank, you can know whoever has an account. But what makes this serious is this. The money sent in was tagged electioneering campaigns.
Which I'm still getting there.
Which tells you that clearly this is political. Now, you now begin to ask yourself, who in the political arena can wish to do this, maybe send a sum of money that will be embarrassing to a candidate? Because, my dear, eventually that money may be traced to, it could maybe come from Saudi Arabia or maybe any of the terrorist elements. And then there will be linkage. Okay, is this man funding terrorism? So that is the scare. And it's a palpable scare. He should be worried. Because can it happen again? Can it happen to others? Will more things happen? The fact is more things will happen because I keep on saying we have a president who says all is fair in politics. But all is not fair in politics. Killing is not fair in politics. Rigging is not fair in politics. All cannot be fair in politics. Paying monies into somebody's account when the person has not asked for it, it's not fair in politics, for goodness sake. And then with regards to what Mr. Atiku has done, which is the ideal thing, is to notify Nigerians because there will be a fallout from this. You have a claim that, okay, the money came from one illegal purpose or the other. So he has just put Nigerians on notice. As for who will investigate, what are they investigating? Because tomorrow there will be any bank staff, even a cleaner in a bank, can know my account number in the banks I operate. And then they throw in some money into it. So that is why these powers that the EFCC has, because when they shut down the account of Osun State, the guy who is the PR manager of the EFCC had the guts to tell us that EFCC can close anybody's account once they suspect anything fishy. Now, if you put in maybe $1 million in my account that I've never had that kind of money before, you now close my account because you saw that is how brutal, how draconian the laws are in Nigeria that empower this EFCC to act as though they were in a banana republic. Perhaps we're a banana republic. So the reality is this: it's a very serious issue, but there will be more because the desperation is palpable, and it will not be only against Mr. Atiku; it will also affect Mr. Peter Obi. So Nigerians should be ready for more of this because it will happen. But when it happens, we know the source. We should just overcome it. Like I said, the issue of they will use whatever can smear a man, maybe put him in a very like Atiku Abubakar, who is a Muslim. I wouldn't be surprised if they post a picture of him surrounded by whiskey and alcoholic liquor, just to mess him up amongst his religious people. So likewise, P2B and other things. So more of this will happen, but Nigerians should know that it's coming from the source of the man who thinks all is fair in politics.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. I will bring it to you, Mr. Lawa. Now, just like the statement, says as regards to what the remarks of that particular transfer is. Now, Atiku never solicited for any, political support or funds, and we know what this particular means when it comes to that of the INEC, portal, and for his image. If we are to look into this particular situation from that particular, corner, is it enough reason for INEC to also step in before more damages are caused? And of course, I would have said, the EFCC, but I would rather, say the ICPC. And the reason why I usually prefer the ICPC is because EFCC can, announce you wanted today. And when everything looks like it is going smoothly, and I'm not using the word allegedly because we already have one in the public domain, Kogi State Governor, Yahya Bello, who they said they don't know his whereabouts. But we were well seeing his picture and videos, in the government house. And they said he was taking a cover from an immune, a governor that has immunity. And finally, when he granted their visit, because I wouldn't say the invitation, upon the visit, he left. And the next thing EFCC told us, they said he is not guilty until the court says he's guilty. So why did you say he was wanted in the first place? So you don't have your evidence? So that's being said. That's why I'm saying either the INEC and the ICPC to do, what should they do? And should it be a situation where they have to take this particular situation up as regards to maybe some elements trying to, destroy the image of Atiku Abubakar against the 2027 general election?
Yes, thank you. Now, I was still very young, in which when you go to bank, you will see a notice there that EFCC has the mandate to investigate your account if minimum of so and so enter your account. So they are already telling us that as so minimum, EFCC is notified. So this one now, EFCC should have been, should have carried out its investigation to be sure that everything, whatever is going on with that account, he is supposed to have done that. It's not Nigerians or Atiku supposed to be coming out to say all that. Because the moment the money moves into Atiku's account, EFCC is mandated to be aware of it. So if EFCC is quiet, and later they now come up and say maybe something, they will be questioning EFCC, are you this slow, or you are this negligent, or you don't want to act, or you're not trying to act now. So now, EFCC is supposed to have, done their investigation about that money as of this moment, because the law permits them to be aware of minimum amount that is transferred into whether individual or corporate account. So if this fictitious money that's transferred to Atiku's account, is labeled electioneering money, I'm sure EFCC is already aware of it, because the information will have gone to EFCC according to what we were told, that the bank has a mandate to inform EFCC. Now, the question is, what has EFCC, discovered about this money? Because Atiku is coming out now to deny that money. So it's now in the coffers of EFCC or ICPC to come up and say, no, the moment that thing was done, we were able to, start our machinery of investigation, and then immediately...
The same way it was very fast for them to say 11 billion.
Yes. Even look at the way they did it about Oshun without anybody knowing.
That's what I'm saying, but we'll get to that conversation.
They didn't tell anybody. They quickly froze,
Yes.
Now, the Atiku one, if they didn't do anything like, come up with investigations, we have...
And giving us results.
Yes.
So that means
and
that...
if they left it like that, without even, informing Atiku or whatever, that, so and so amount has entered your bank, and then we have, account, we have the mandate to freeze that account pending investigation, because we saw that it is fictitious or whatever. Then we'll be wondering whether EFCC is actually being selective, or maybe truly, like Mr. Eleche said now, that maybe it's some scrupulous people in government trying to smear the image of the former Vice President Atiku. Because as of now, EFCC supposed to be aware of everything, supposed to have kickstarted its investigation, supposed to be coming out to tell Nigerians what exactly is going on there. But if they are silent and they're able to freeze very fast Osun State account, they will be wondering, EFCC, what exactly is your job?
Okay, before we take it to Comrade Momo, Barrister, permit me, I would still stay on you.
Mister.
No, but you cannot start correcting somebody that is used to something for a very long time. Okay. So it will take time, but get used to the process. That's why we call it reform. So that's why we call it reform. So it's a gradual process. That's what your ruling party told you. They said their reforms are hidden result, but you have to have patience. Mm-hmm. Now, let me come to you as regards to the Cybercrime Act and, of course, data protection. Is it adequately, working for us in this nation, or do we need a more, better law and as regards to, putting Nigerians in safety first? Now, this is a criminal act. We all agree. How should Atiku and his legal team, take up this particular, situation? And who should face, the criminal liability? Is it the ghost sender or the bank?
Well, thank you very much. Let me try to touch a bit on the issue of who will be responsible. Forget the EFCC, because I've always stated that the EFCC, right from its onset, is a Gestapo-like witch hunt outfit, which has been set up by the executive to tackle the opposition. Now, the ICPC has also degraded itself with the way it acted in these PFIPC scams, reading out an interim report that tried to already blacklist the victim. That's the prince at the is it the INEC that Mr. Tinubu just appointed an APC apologist to investigate, that will investigate this issue? So the reality is this: what the Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has done is the ideal, which is bring it to the notice of the Nigerian public that look at what's going on, that in case these people try to shut my account, this is what was intended. And that is where it should end. And I think having exposed this criminal tendency, even the FCC himself would now know they are flat-footed. They've been caught pants down, and they will just, whoever brought that account, that he has not donated money to charity. If I was Atiku, either refund the money back, ask the bank to send it back if possible. Otherwise, the bank account of Mr. Atiku cannot now be closed because of this miscreant who tried to rubbish him. With regards to the question of what the question again was, what?
That's regards to our data protection in the country. Yes.
Now,
about crime.
Yes. You see, most laws in this country are made for a purpose, not really the altruistic reason it is that is stated on it. Data protection. The terrorists in the bush still reel out TikTok videos of themselves counting money and how they harass their victims. Nobody uses that to apprehend them or even to locate where they are. It is when you are busy criticizing an illegitimate act of government that they can now pinpoint where you are, even if you go underground. So that cyber security law, cyber crime laws, the data protection is for a purpose, not an altruistic purpose. And that is the prism from which we have to look at virtually all that has happened under the governance of Mr. Bola Tinubu. Because it's shown that he's a man with that tenacity, that capacity, not to rule or to govern for the betterment of this country, but simply how does it make him stay longer in office? So the data protection law does not apply in this case. Like I said earlier, knowing somebody's account is no big deal in a bank, unless maybe if the account, because we still don't know what bank these funds were. We don't know whether it's a Nigerian account, because if it's a Switzerland-based account, then the issue of data protection comes in, because ordinarily you don't know somebody's Swiss bank account records, because they give you about 30 digits, and only you and the bankers can know. And they, of course, you know why they do that? That when you die, the money stays back in Switzerland. But the reality is this issue of data protection does not apply in this matter. It is more an issue of Atiku has made Nigerians aware of it. We now know it's part of that desperate act by this regime to stay in power. we also only hope that Mr. P2B, when his own will come, because it will come, one way or the other, they will also hit him.
I think
So
to
he
an
should
extent,
be-
I have to add prophets to your name.
No,
but
it's
okay.
not. It's not. Look, it's when you understand the strategy, you can plot a graph that they've done this, they will do this, they will do that, so that by the time they are doing whatever they are doing,
You won't be surprised anymore.
Yeah, we won't be surprised. So Nigerians, these guys will come fighting hard and dirty. We shouldn't be worried. We should know that this is what they are capable of doing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Like Xavier said, maybe we should add prophet to your name. But
I'm telling you.
I wouldn't want to say it's funny that you're actually projecting that
Yes.
this would happen to Peter Obi
It
as
will,
well.
certainly.
Well, of course we are
It
here.
might not be the same.
Might not be the same
Yes.
context,
Yes.
yes, but
Yes.
you're just saying that something would want to indict him,
Yes.
sort of. But let's take it to Comrade. Comrade, so sorry that we have allowed you to stay for so long. Glad to have you join us, Comrade Ibrahim Momo.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yes. So let me bring you into the conversation. I'm sure you've been following us. We've been talking about the suspicious amount of money, or a suspicious amount of money, really. We don't know. The amount wasn't disclosed by the former vice president, that was put into his account. And, guest here, both Mr. Lawal Kundayo and, of course, Mr. Ezoliche, has said that it is controversial, that it's just when you look at it, you just tell yourself that this is political. I want to hear your view. What do you really think about this? Or do you think that, it might not just be as we think, or as they think, rather?
Well, there are three layers from which I'm going to try to respond to it. The first one is that, yes, Atiku is a frontline political actor or stakeholder, a leading presidential candidate. So, yes, we can't rule out politicking, either in his aides statement or if indeed proving the action. So, very simple, I think there's politics written all over this. Number two is that it is not the first time. I'm sure maybe you, the anchors, or any of the guests would have heard of, if you have not personally had the incident, where monies may have been wrongly or rightly credited to your account, which you are not sure where it came from. It had happened to me. So let's not do activities out of the ordinary. It's not impossible. It had happened to me, and I'm sure if it had not happened to any of the guests or the anchors, you know at least one person who it had happened to. So that's the other. Then the third point is that there's still more work on this. One, how much was deposited? Now, because it's electronic transfer, it is clear that there is a trace. That is the advantage that electronic e-transfers or e-banking does. It gives you a trace. It's not as if I give you cash and there's no evidence. There's a trace. So the source account, the names and particulars of the source account is easy to find. And I think that we need to know more. Who, for when you transfer from one account to another account, it means that it's a known, it's an existing account. Even with the OPays, PalmPays of this world, they are still doing a lot of investigation now. They know everything about me because I also have some of those accounts. They know even my PHC and the power receipts. They have a copy of it. Even the front of my house, they have a copy of. They have a photo of it. This ones I did. So the KYC. So I think that there's still more information that needs to come out. Because this is not an hidden information. You have come out to say that a huge sum of money. How much was it? Who paid the money? From which account? Nigerians can now by themselves push this information further. If an El-Rufai, for example, can monitor the calls of the National Security Advisor, why can't we trace a known account? So I think there is still more information, and that's why I think that there is insufficient information for us to make, a definite position that it was done by the government, and then Peter Obi is next. I don't think we are there yet. Even in the statement by Frank Shaibu, there's still so much that is left unsaid. Let us understand that everybody is playing politics now. It's possible, and I can't take that with this particular government. They can do whatever, all these kind of things. It's not beyond what they will do. I am very certain that it's possible that they have a hand in it. But so far, the franchise statement has not given us enough information for us to even believe or take this thing further. That's where I stand on the issue.
Okay, thank you. Like you mentioned, you're saying that there's still a lot that we don't know, that the public do not know about this particular issue. So are you saying that there's a need for more context, for the former vice president or even his aides to give us more context, probably the amount of money and all of that? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and for me, there are three things that needs to come out. Minimum, at the very minimum. Who paid the money? It's not if every one of us owns an account. If I receive money now, it's easy to find out who sent that money, what bank accounts, which account number and bank account, that thing. I receive an email alert. I receive an SMS alert. So it's easy. I operate internet banking. I'm sorry for Ibrahim Momo, who is a bloody lecturer. He can have all those. A former vice president and president candidate will definitely have those facilities. So you need to tell us more. That's the first thing. That's one. Tell us the source account, the name of that account, and the account number. Number two, tell us how much was the money. Because if you are holding on to the money, you are holding on to the information about the person who paid in the money and how much was paid. Those three, you are holding on, the money has not been reported. You just want to give a press statement. They're not reported to EFCC, reported to the bank. They're not be returned. Because it's not impossible that it's a genuine donation. Or have we ruled that one out that it's possible that it's not a genuine donation? So he's still holding the money as we are talking now. He has still not reported the matter to the... It's only a press statement. At least to the information. He didn't, in that statement that I read, there was no indication that he has not reported to the regulatory authorities. No. Who sent the money? It's not in that statement. Or I don't know if I didn't read it well. If maybe the anchors know. How much was sent? It's not even there. These are the information that needs to come out. At least to assist us to make further investigation and take an informed position. That is where I stand on the issue.
Okay, the fact that you said that you're still holding on to the money, actually got me laughing there.
It's true.
You are complaining about money and you're still holding the money. So of course,
Comrade
that's just on the lighter note.
Comrade, I think I must give you this morning first. You cracked me up first when you said that you have actually received such strange money before. You don't know if the anchors have actually received one. We have never, but of course, you said perhaps we know anyone who has actually received that. And I think I should ask Barrister, have you seen one? Mr. Lava, have you seen any? We have not received any here.
No, let me correct one impression.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you can receive monies from accounts that you can't return to. That the name of the account that's sent to you will not even be there.
That's what I was going to point.
Yes. That kind of thing, you can't even return it.
No, comrade, you have to understand something.
That's the reality.
Comrade, you have to understand something that except the money is being transferred, sometimes except the money is being transferred, within Nigerian to Nigeria, in Nigeria. Most times, when you are using a foreign account to send some certain amount, first, they use SWIFT code, and now there are so many transaction platforms we have now in the world, which is beyond the ones that we know. Crypto. Where you can just send money and it will just show that money has been transferred. That's it. And sometimes it would even show that particular, it would even show the platform, it will show the platform of that particular, financial institution and not even the name of the person. And the SWIFT code, that's all.
You are making the point that this is exactly the point I'm making. Is it a foreign transfer or a local transfer? Do we know that information now? The answer is no. How much was transferred? Do we know other information? The answer is no. If it is a foreign transfer and the account did not appear, then tell us. But he has not said that the account is not known. He didn't say that. So we are the ones. We are speculating now. You are speculating. Barrister is speculating. I am speculating. We are speculating now because we don't have enough information to make a declarative statement or take a position on this issue. That's the point I've made.
Okay, so comrade,
it's not possible that it is a political gimmick. I'm not discounting that, but we don't have, as of now, we don't have any beyond that. watery press statement. We don't have enough information. That is what I think we can all agree on that.
Okay, comrade. I need to clear you on something. First, no one is taking any position, as regards to this. And if at all anyone is to take position, it's either you take your position, Barrister Mr. Lawa, and that's not, from us here, the anchors. But that being said, you mentioned, one of the points that I picked interesting. You said, while Alhaji Atiku Abubakar was actually giving his press statement, he didn't tell us the amount that was received, And he didn't also mention the account, of course. So let's rule that account, away. But as of now, we don't know if he has also reached out to the EFCC, the CBN, the NIBSS, and of course the NDPC, to help him do investigation as regards to that particular money. But just like you said, we don't know how much the money is, which I think as so many Nigerians want to know the amount. And the seller did not also send it to us. The seller sent it to him. It means that is support. Even if they do any investigation, I think he will still have to keep his money because that's his money. Now, let me bring it to the studio.
No, I have something to say.
Okay, please go ahead.
One thing is this. I don't expect him to disclose the details of the money because yes, because he has already
Are you talking about the amount?
No. See, disclosing the amount,
okay,
the name of the sender is not, I don't think it's important. What is important is that fictitious amount, suspicious amount that can tarnish or damage his own image has been sent into his account. So the best thing he could do is to come out publicly and say before somebody damages his name.
Don't you think it's better for you to use the word before someone damages his image?
Yes, it's to come out and say.
Why should Atiku not mention the name of the sender if he has it?
See, you can't. You can't even mention the amount because it's dangerous. If it's a huge amount,
I never knew that money could be dangerous these days. Mr. Lawa, I'm surprised that money is dangerous now.
Really? Why not? They can hack your account and withdraw your money. So, see, one thing is this. He has done what I think is the best thing to do. Okay. He has informed everybody across board so that thereafter, anything
Who are the everybody, Mr. Lawa? I'd like you to...
See, he has informed the government.
Are you aware?
No. Yes, because publicly you are discussing it. That's an information to everybody now.
But you were meant to write to the right
it's not necessary.
It's not necessary?
Yes.
Wow.
Let me tell you something. Okay. Let me say a house is burning. Do you need to pick and start writing? Or maybe
you call the emergency
or you come out and say it. The moment they hear
if you come out and say it and not still call the emergency toll-free line, how will the fire service get to you?
See, by getting across to them.
That's what I'm saying. But you said the person just come out and say it.
You don't need to write. He has already told everybody. Tell me, EFCC is not listening to this news. EFCC did not read the newspaper. You have read it. I am discussing it. People are discussing it. So EFCC, that is the agents are supposed to monitor things like this, is not aware. I won't believe that. One. Second, in the bank, we are told that the bank has a mandate to send to EFCC minimum of certain amount. I think before it was 5 million. Individual
5 million?
I think it was minimum of 5 million. EFCC will be notified. Now, each money is sent to somebody's account. So the person needs to inform EFCC. Are you telling me that EFCC, you need to inform, or EFCC is already aware of that money? Who informed Osun? Who wrote?
Okay, Mr. Lawa.
Wait. Who wrote to EFCC about Osun's account?
All right, Mr. Lawa. Thank you so much. Let me come to Barrister Ezeluchi. And the reason why I want to come, Barrister, please, I want you to broaden this up, legally for us. When someone receives money in their account and they just come out to announce or mention to their friends and family, and the money is quite heavy. Now, Mr. Atiku is also a Nigerian, and they didn't report to the right authorities. Is it okay?
Now, we wouldn't know whether he reported to the right authorities, because in this instance, I'm sure he's already told his bank, I didn't request for this money, or it's not, I don't know where it's coming from. So one will expect that the bank will just put that money, that fund particularly, in an escrow. That means they will
take it away from the balance and put it on ledger.
Yes.
Okay.
Sort of. I mean, that is just the most that can be done at this instance, because he says it's not his, he doesn't want it, he didn't request for it. So the bank will just keep it in case the owner, the person who sent it, made an error. And you see, discussing law with Nigeria is always a problematic issue. Because, like I keep on saying, we live in a largely lawless society where the laws are just there for the books, but not really for implementation. So, I mean, Mr. Atiku has done what he should do, and then it's left for the system to kick in and operate as it should operate. That is just that.
All right. So, because of our time, we press for time. Thank you so much, Barrister, for that particular one. But before we go, how do we, regain public trust as regards to situations like this? Because there is no how we won't still talk about the Cybercrime Act. There's no how we won't talk about data protection. How do we regain, or what should the government do, to regain public trust when it comes to a situation like this?
Look, we have a country where a supposedly fake agency opened accounts with the Central Bank of Nigeria, and several financial acts of rascality has taken place. You begin to say, how do you regain trust? Fish rots from the head. If the entire system is led by somebody who people don't trust or who has a very shaky background, it's difficult to talk about trust in this system. So what we're basically doing in this country now is to live by the day and hope that it doesn't overwhelm us. I don't think the issue of trust or whatever is critical in this instance. Somebody has said he felt something wrong happened and he has raised the issue. So that is where it stops. I don't think Mr. Atiku's trust in this system will become...
no, I'm talking about general, Nigerian trust as regards to the government.
Yes, I don't think even my own or whatever will be enhanced based on what this government does. Because as far as I'm concerned, this government is rooted, neck deep in the concept of snatch and run. So how will I...
But it's like you're still staying on that particular word.
Yes. No, I mean, these are very critical words that Mr. Bola Tinubu stated.
Okay.
So you cannot divorce it from his person or his administration, because that is what they've used to govern.
All right. Let's move ahead to the next conversation here. Osun account a freeze. Of course, Tinubu orders EFCC to back down. We'll be talking about this after this short break. Don't go nowhere, please. Stay tuned with us.
Glad to have you join us. Thank you, and of course, for still being with us and following us on this conversation. It's still the Morning Buzz and Voice of the People television. Let's move straight to our second topic, or second conversation. A fresh political and legal controversies brewing in Osun State after the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) restricted one of the state government's bank accounts just days, days and week, or just a week really, before the August 15 governorship election. The FCC says the action followed months of investigation into the alleged mismanagement of about 11 billion naira in ecology funds, intervention funds, and allocations from the Federation Account Allocation Committee, FAC. The commission says restricting the account was a lawful temporary measure designed to prevent any possible diversion of public funds while the investigation continues. But the Osun State government rejected the allegation, describing the action as politically motivated and accusing the anti-graft agency of attempting to disrupt governance ahead of the election. Controversy has now taken a dramatic turn, with President Bola Tinubu directing the EFCC to return to court and seek the immediate vacation of the freezing order. Tinubu said he was not questioning the Commission's legal mandate or the fact that the restriction was backed by a court order, but expressed concern over the timing, warning that the action could create the impression that the federal agency was being used to influence the Osun election. The president said he only became aware of the court order after it had been obtained and maintained that anti-corruption agencies must operate independently without political interference. Still with us to analyze these stories, we have in the studio, we have Mr. Lawale Kundayo, who is an educationist and a public affairs analyst. Also, we have Ezeluchi Esquire. He is attorney at law and public and political affairs analyst. Also from our Benin studio, we have Comrade Ibrahim Momo. He is a lecturer and also a public affairs analyst. Let me come to you first, Comrade. The back and forth, or should I say the saga between EFCC and the Osun State government, and of course, we saw how the president intervened, and he asked for the account to be unfrozen, and this has actually generated reactions. People, Nigerians, basically are calling for the sack of the EFCC chairman. There are court parties calling for the resignation and if he doesn't resign, the president should sack him. But first, let me ask you, what do you make of this? Like we mentioned, we were speaking earlier, and some of our guests talked about, this power that EFCC has to just go ahead and just freeze an account or a government account. EFCC, they're saying they are in the right, that they have the right actually to freeze an account for 72 hours. And, they actually mentioned your state, which Edo State, they gave Edo State and as an example that they did this. It was looking like they were, clapping for themselves and saying they did it, and then they were able to get some money, or they were able, all of this. What do you make of this? All of this saga, really?
Well, I like the fact that you have called it a saga, because that's exactly what it is. Firstly, there is a legal element to it, and then there is a political overreach or a political consideration. Legally, the FCC has the power, it's empowered by law and settled judicial precedent, judgments of the courts, that empowers it to do what it has done. So that's why sometimes when we make these arguments and we try to be legalistic, it beats the point. It takes away the juice, kind of. So there's a legalistic opinion with that EFCC was in their right. And the statutes, the MLA, the Money Laundering Act, and even the act setting up the EFCC, if you do a combined reading of 7.3 and 7.6, and of course, I think Section 38 of the Money Laundering Act, you see that EFCC is within its powers. It was not an overreach. Now, that is how far we can go with legalism if we want to be legalistic. But lo and behold, this issue is not purely or only a legal issue. It also has politics written all over it. And that's why I think it's a political issue, and more or less, not so. It's not whether it acted appropriately or not. The issue is that Osun State, at the time it was done, 10 days to the election. Today it is 7 days now. Osun State was facing an election, imminent election, gubernatorial election, a consequential election at that, because you have an incumbent that is fighting and a strong opposition because of his overreach in terms of presidential powers and then immediate powers. So the APC is a strong contender for that seat. But the governor is on ground. So the issue is that you have 10 days to an election. Is it the best time to freeze one of the accounts, particularly the accounts where federal allocation comes from, because you have been monitoring since March and you see that 11 billion naira have been moved to another account? Left for me, I would have said that account that 11 billion naira was moved to, freeze it and leave the state government account. Left for me. So I'm being political here now. That the ANC did not exercise some restraints because it was political season. In politics, a lot of money across board, even those who don't give shishi, spend money. If we look at the records, Labour Party, when it was, we know they give shishi, received a lot of donations from diaspora. So elections cost a whole lot of money. Imagine you have, where I come from, my state, Edo, you have 18 local governments, you have 192 wards, and you have over 12,000 polling units. Mobilizing, organizing, preparation, and executing an election across 12,000 plus units in 192 wards, in 18 local governments, in just one state. It's not small. So the thing is that EFCC acted, in my opinion, politically, not legally, when it chose to freeze the state government account 10 days to a consequential election. So that's the I stand on the issue that it was political. And then, to make matters worse, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria was now directing the anti-corruption body, who were originally within their rights to have frozen the accounts, within their powers to have frozen the account. You're not directing them to unfreeze. So there are so many things that are wrong. The timing of the EFCC action, even though they had the power to do that, they could have waited after the election to do it. but they chose to do it before the election. Timing was very wrong. So that was political. And then the president now adding insult to injury, adding fire, pouring fear to already burning fire, was again another level of political interference that I thought was wrong. Two wrongs have not made it right. Let's assume the EFCC was wrong. That was one wrong in not considering the political implication or the political timing of that. That was wrong of the EFCC. Now, for the president to now be directing the EFCC to seek to withdraw the court order and unfreeze the account, it's another wrong. So two wrongs has never and will never make it right. That is where I stand on the issue.
Okay, thank you. Two wrongs can never make it right. That's by Comrade. I was going to call you Barrister.
Because no, of course, he actually, cited the Nigerian Constitution. So
exactly, my first degree is in law. So
okay. So I'm in the spirit. Okay, so thank you very much. And let me come to you, Mr. Ezeluche. He said we shouldn't call you Barrister. Yeah, he says Ezeluche. It's
which is not still getting that way with me.
One of the things they pointed out, that Comrade pointed out, was should I say the overreaching of the president? I don't know if you think so too, because some parties or some persons have actually said that the president should not have done that. He should have rather probably maybe gone, he's the president. He could have asked, there are some things he could have done rather than coming out himself or coming out with a personal statement or whatever it is that he did to actually ask EFCC to unfreeze the account. It now begs the question, where is the independence of the EFCC? I don't know what you make of this.
Thank you very much. You see, many people are deceived about the EFCC. Right from its very onset, I kept on saying it, and I've written it, I've blogged about it. The EFCC is a Gestapo-like witch hunt outfit which the executive uses against the opposition. Then in between, they try to make some arrests of frauds, these miscreants, the Yahoo boys, to get some international accolades. And this is not just because of the Bola Tinubu presidency. Right from the time of Olusegun Obasanjo, when he created the EFCC. In fact, in one particular instance, Olusegun Obasanjo went and was telling a sitting governor in a political rally, I will send Nuhu Ribadu after you. So that is what the EFCC is. So when Nigerians begin to talk of that, they have their powers in law. What law? What law are we talking about? In fact, at times it is just to disobey illegitimate laws. And we have a lot of illegitimate laws in Nigeria. Even the law that the EFCC is talking about, that you can without just block somebody's account for 72 hours. That's a silly law. And that is one of the things that we have in our law books. Do we have stupid laws? Yes. And in the Section 7 of the EFCC Act, which the EFCC used as a pedestal, says that you can block the account of a person. Is a state government a person? And you went ahead and blocked the state government's account. That where they pay salaries, they pay contractors, they pay everything 10 days to the elections. So that's why I say when we discuss Nigeria and we talk about law, it's a bit difficult because we know that we are a lawless society. We are a country that has the laws in our books, but in reality, these laws are neither here nor there. And the interference of Mr. Bola Tinubu, those who are surprised are jokers. Because every act of the EFCC, political act against state governors, is at the behest of the president, not just Mr. Tinubu, and it has been the case right from the time of EFCC's inception. I mean, it's not by accident that EFCC does not go against state governments of the ruling national party. No, it's not by accident. They always go after the opposition parties. In fact, Adams Oshiomhole, a senator from Edo State, once said, once you come into the ruling party, all your sins are forgiven. The EFCC becomes close to you. And it repeated itself in the issue of the former governor of Kogi State. Before the current EFCC chairman, Olukoyede, was making noise all about gallivanting. When I catch him, he will do this, he will do that. Until the man now came and had a handshake with the president, and that was the end of all of EFCC's noise against the former governor of Kogi State. So let us not begin to mystify this group that is called the EFCC. I have repeatedly asked that this EFCC should be scrapped. It is a waste of public resources. It is defective. The Nigerian police force has enough personnel and equipment that can do whatever the EFCC is doing, even better. But the FCC just comes out there. They have grandiose offices. They wear their red camouflage and they just harass people, harass students. In the Southeast, they enter schools and begin to collect laptops. That is what they are doing. But you've never asked yourself, what have they done the other way? Have they helped Nigerians to recover any funds, any act of fraud against Nigerians by their trading partners outside? Has the FCC helped to return it back? The answer is no. It's always you arrest Nigerians and you throw Nigerians out to the international community to be prosecuted. I'm not trying to encourage criminality. What I'm trying to say in effect is that the FCC for too long has been masked. But Mr. Tinubu's action that you must withdraw that court order, unfreeze the account, and tells us clearly, that this group is just an arm of the executive. And as things go on, you see that now Mr. Tinubu, who was thought to be a master strategist, is now making a lot of mistakes. The account of Atiku, they poured in some money into, they're more and more mistakes because they're in a desperate mode. So despite having all the INEC, having the police, having whatever, they are still desperately making mistakes. The order on EFCC was clearly a mistake because all along there had been a belief, a facade that EFCC was independent, but it has been exposed now. So look at the EFCC chairman. When next you're coming to arrest any governor or politician, go and ask your president. Let him send it on a message. Let it be clear that Mr. Tinubu is the one sending you. And don't come and start pretending as if you are acting based on any altruistic reasons. And this is how EFCC has been. Mind you, I'm not saying it's just because of the current regime. Olusegun Obasanjo used it when he was there. Even the good of Jonathan used the same EFCC. The only person who might have been altruistic was Yaradua. Buhari used it very effectively, despite what we are saying. In fact, Buhari put in an inexperienced neophyte, Abdurrashid Bawa, who was not even qualified to be the chairman. He made him the chairman of the FCC. And what are we talking about? It's quite a sad episode because ordinarily in other climes, they have been a better judicious use of resources. But in Nigeria, in this Osun State imbroglio, the FCC has performed below par. What I would have expected the Osun State government to have done was using Section 37 of the Criminal Code to charge Mr. Olukoyede of the EFCC and all those who are involved for treason. Because they have tried to overthrow the government of a state. They have tried to disturb overall the due performance of the government of a state. So Osun State should have charged these characters for trying to disturb the due governance of the state. And that is under Section 37 of the Criminal Code. So let's stop gallivanting. By now, Mr. Olukoyede of the FCC should be facing a charge in Osun State. And if the state government now orders the police and they don't go and pick him up, order the Amotekun to go and pick him up. Because what he did is, it's not a joke.
No, but it was when you said the Amotekun. The Amotekun does not have the arsenal that the EFCC.
Whatever, let it be that they have gone and the man refused. Because how do you, for goodness sake, sit down in Abuja and say that they should stop the account of the state government? That they pay salaries, they pay pensions, they pay everything, and because you think you are the FCC chairman, you can talk all kind of nonsense? No, there should be consequences for this. And let the Osun State government try that. Then if it fails, then we now know that maybe we just have these laws in paper. But as far as I'm concerned, the EFCC chairman and all those who are involved in this crime against the people of Osun State should be facing treasonable felony charges in Osun State for the crimes they've committed.
All right, thank you so much, Barrister, for that particular, wonderful thought. Let me bring it to you, Mr. Lawal, as we wrap up this particular, conversation. Now, just like, our barrister said, of course, so many people have actually talked about overreach, as regards to the president said he was not going to interfere, and he didn't even interfere based on, the situation, but he was just talking about the timing, and that was the reason why he interfered.
That's interference.
Now, if you talk about timing, but you have also still interfered. Now, before I get to the big question, if you look at in 2018, it happened in my state, Akwa Ibom State. It happened in Benue. In 2019, it also happened around Imo and Kwara, if you remember, the same EFCC. So this is not the first time EFCC has been freezing different accounts. So they've been doing this, even when we say it is not constitutional, but they've been doing it. Now, they are not freezing the account of an individual. Because if you have to freeze an account of an individual, be it a governor or a deputy, they have to even leave office. Because in the Nigerian Constitution, in Section 308, it says that they have immunity. So, but this is a state account that they have been freezing. Now, the big question, if the president can order EFCC to go back and reverse a situation, how many more have they asked? Should we say the president has actually asked before to go and arrest that politician, he has left APC? Or since EFCC, that is an independent agency, can be ordered by the president, should we also say that the president can also ask INEC to do something? It's just a question. Nigerians are asking.
No, the thing is this. If the president can remove a governor and then go to house and begin to discuss it, so EFCC and government, the president can also do that to EFCC. How much more of EFCC when the president can do it to a governor? Now, the thing is this. I'm not looking at the aspect of the 72 hours or whatever, 2 days freezing or whatever.
Okay.
I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at why, the reason for doing it. That's the point. You get it? You've been monitoring an account for months. You didn't freeze it. You said it, you noticed features, whatever, for months, for God's sake, not a day or not one transaction, for months. You know how long a month is? 30 days, 31 days, times how many? Like 2 times. You've been monitoring that account for months. The moment you notice it, you didn't freeze the account at that time. You were looking at it for months. You were monitoring for months. And then you said it was fictitious, activities were going on in that account for months, for God's sake. For months. You didn't start from the beginning. Are you getting my point, sir? You didn't start from the beginning. When you notice, we noticed this, so this started the second day or a week. We've noticed series of, let's freeze the account. You were looking at it for months.
Maybe the investigation was still ongoing.
Okay.
Don't you think so?
You were for months. Now, let me tell you something. Let me say, truly, if it's just activity was going on in the account, they will have withdrawn all the money in the account. See, when the account is empty, you will now start your process. Look at that. Are you getting my point? So what are you saving? What are you saving? You are not helping the account now because for months it's been going on. And then, now let's go to it. You froze the account. Now, 2 days after, you unfreeze the account. And that's the end. What have you achieved from all this freezing? What did you achieve?
No. Once the commander-in-chief of the armed forces,
no achievement. Then the question is
giving the direction. What else is
remaining? The question is this: the EFCC chairman needs to face, the repercussion, the consequences of his action, because he has shown, based on what just happened, you get it?
Okay.
That is not. There's no really any features activities going on in the account because you have unfreeze it. Okay. And then normal activities is going on the account. So what have you achieved from all these activities?
All right.
Zero.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lawa, for that energetic, submission. Let's just move to trend. Controversy is deepening in Osun State, of course, of which we're still talking about here ahead of the August 15 governorship election following the emergence of a viral video allegedly, showing individuals described as vote-buying agents taking oath in connection with cash allegedly meant to influence voters. The footage has actually triggered outrage and fresh concerns over the credibility of the election, coming at a time when political parties are trading accusations over alleged attempts to manipulate voters and, of course, the electoral process. The development has particularly raised questions about whether vulnerable residents are being pressured to make commitments in exchange for money or political support with the alleged practice, potentially undermining voters' freedom to make independent choice and, of course, at their ballot. Well, I would like us to actually, take, a certain video in as much as the Governor Ademola Adeleke, Adeleke's campaign organization has actually rejected this particular claim and saying it's not, associated, with them. Of course, we're talking about such, serious conduct here. I'd like my team to quickly, flash the video while, we bring it to the studio, to ask. I would like to start off with you, Barrister Ezeluche, after you hear this, because I know this is being taken, in Yoruba, but I'll try and, interpret.
àti láti ṣe ohun tí ẹ fẹ́.
Ṣé iwájú ọ̀nà?
Gbogbo ètò tó wà ní bíbélì. Bá ti wá jẹ́
Okay. I know Barrister will say, Sylvia, you are laughing again. Now, Barrister, let me come to you. I just want everyone to touch it in just 20 seconds. Now, he is saying that from, Ademola Adeleke, between you, this is the oath, for you to be truthful, for you to do the bidding of Adeleke, and, fulfill everything that you've been, asked to do as regards to that particular, election. Now, we don't know if these people are being staged to sabotage the Accord Party and, Adeleke, or this is just another whistleblower who has actually, uncovered this particular situation. How would you react to this? Well, I know everybody's desperate.
No, that looks like a very good drama script. I mean, because if you are taking an oath, it will ordinarily be in a secret place. Okay. So this is right in the open, and everybody's seen everybody well. So there's nothing secret about it. It's a good drama piece. And I think the governor has already denied being part of it. If it was in a coven and there was a secret camera being used, then we can now talk about it.
I've not seen a coven before. So.
I have. Yes, but this was just a drama piece in public in the broad daylight. So we have seen it. We now file it, but we also know those that we want to think that all is fair in politics.
Okay.
And those ones, we know what they will do. Okay. So they won't do their own kind of oath swearing in public.
All right. Thank you so much for that final thought as regards to this particular one. Let me take you to Comrade Momo. Comrade, are you there?
Yeah, I am.
Comrade, please, I want you to react to this, video you just watched. And of course, I just interpreted what was said in the video.
Well, I took a different view.
Please go ahead.
That was not in the open. It was in a bush-like or shrine-like environment. And I'm sure Barrister can appreciate that. I think that the mere fact that the current governor and his party is in the opposition have not made them immune from the crisis of our body politic, of our political system, the criminality of our... Let's not sanctify political criminals. Let's not do this, because at the end of the day, what we are doing is that we are doing the reverse of what the quoted about the Shomole. That once you come to the APC, your sins are forgiven. It means that everybody who is now in the opposition can do no wrong. That's not how it is done. The idea is that what we are debating now is the one that we saw. The one that others would have done, maybe the APC would have done, or any other party would have done, that we didn't see. We don't have video evidence for it now. We cannot even be talking about it. More so, I am not expecting that the Accord Party or Adeleke's team to accept, even when they were caught red-handed. It reminds me of that song by Shaggy. It wasn't me.
Okay, so comrade, because of press for time, at this hour we can actually go as regards to your submission of thoughts. Thank you so much for that particular one. Mr. Lawa, please, in just 20 seconds.
Yes, my own is this. When you allow, things like this to happen and no consequences, it tends to become norms. You saw the lady that was showing her money.
Yeah, in Ekiti.
Talking, talk APC, pie, whatever.
15 pie, that was the language.
It went just like that. Even when there are so many backlashes that lady is supposed to have been brought in and questioned. So this one that is happening now, what are we going to say? Are we going to say they should go after these ones too? Because it's happening across board now. So what is supposed to happen is that they should look at it from the beginning, where they have the information, and do the right thing across board.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Lawa. Just for me to, leave this particular one here, Barrister said that doesn't look like, a very hidden place or a shrine alike, because he has seen Coven before. But Comrade Momo is saying that looks like, a shrine, inside the bush. So we'll just leave that particular pendulum conversation, hanging there. Let it just be going. But Nina, over to you. I don't know if you've actually seen one before, but I've not.
It's only very sad that I've seen a cover before.
Yes, I have.
And he's even saying it with all.
My house, yes.
Nothing wrong about it.
I know, I'm not saying anything wrong with it. I'm not saying
Mr. Lawal, what we see here is just our
okay,
camera.
well, you
That's
can
all.
shrines.
Yes, no, these are
Okay,
shrines.
shrines,
Yes.
yeah. And there are many shrines in Anambra State.
Even in court.
Even on their way.
Please, I wouldn't want you to drag the people of Anambra to this.
No, but
Even
really.
in the here, there's a shrine.
Okay, so I think at this point, this is where I say, court, arise.
You know what I actually said there are many shrines in Anambra State, because when you're traveling, you see Okija, you just see some shrine around that area and you're like, but of course there are shrines everywhere. I'm sorry, Anambra people, I'm an Anambra by marriage as well, so I'm not calling you out.
There are more shrines in Otta than in the whole of the Southeast.
In Otta?
Otta.
That's Ogun State?
Yes, there are more shrines there than the whole of the Southeast.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Anyways, that's all we have to. That's all we have for our package this morning. Thank you, Mr. Lawal. Sorry. That's all we have for our package this morning. Thank you. We've had Mr. Lawal Ekundayo with us, who is an educationist and a public affairs analyst. We've also had Barrister Ezeluche, and of course, Comrade Ibrahim Momo. Thank you so much for being a part of the show today, and I'm sure you enjoyed the show. Thank you very much, and do have a lovely weekend. I am Nenna Ndomdioto.
And of course, I'm Xavier Odo. Don't give up, because it is not over. Tough time doesn't last, but tough will do last. Whatsoever you face will soon be over, and you will definitely smile again. Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.
Big news is here. Your favorite Voice of the People television station is now on free to air on Nigecomsat. All you need to do is align your dish using the following: orbit position 40.5 degrees east, 12.685 gigahertz, 30,000 kilobytes per second. Polarized vertical, frequency 2, 12.731 gigahertz, symbol rate 26,250 kilobytes per second. Polarization H. This works on any decoder. Catch up to 100 channels, sports, movies, news, all for free. This is with better quality at no extra cost. VOP TV on Free TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I. From social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more. Tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count. The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
Yes, obviously everybody knows the game is beautiful, and that's why I love sports. My name is Kizzy K. You're welcome to my republic. But remember, there can never be a transfer without a window. Just like there can never be a deep thinking without a Pep Guardiola in football. You can't say tennis without talking about Djokovic. So why not give me attention on the show so I can run your race on the TV like Lewis Hamilton, Formula 1 star. Don't forget, when God have mercy on you, you can achieve your goals like Cristiano Ronaldo. I am a proud Nigerian, and right here, we talk NFF. For every sports update, commentaries, live interviews on the game, we got you on this, because right here at Voice of the People TV, the Sports Public Show has got everything just for you to be part of it. I love the beautiful game, and that's why Kizzy K loves sports.
Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us. From the views on the street,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
Every day strike, ASU strike, market women strike, even Kule people they strike. We don't become country of strikers.
Even light self, they no fit give us. Don't run for motor. Even leg self, they get accident.
Why una dey complain? Why una dey complain? No una dey collect bribe, dey vote Sokoloko Bango ṣe.
Ìṣèjọba tó dára, òun là ń béèrè.
Anyị chọrọ ọchịchị onye kwuru uche ya. Anyị achọrọzi ọchịchị nchigbu.
Ala ndeze temeka muna so mekio.
What do we want? Na make the rule us well.
Don't take it for noise. It's the people's voice. They have made their choice. Respect that voice for all.
VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. Big news is here. Your favorite Voice of the People television station is now on free to air on
Welcome aboard, everyone. It is hashtag on VOP TV. My name is Vivian Oguche, and it's such a pleasure to have you hang out with us today. This is where we get to tell you all things trending and all things topical on social media, especially on X. And if this is your first time here, accept a very warm welcome from us. Us, because I'm not flying solo. I got a whole crew working together with me to ensure that this is a flawless production. That said, let's get the show on the road. We begin with the very first hashtag. Now it's all over. It's practically breaking the net. It is hashtag Professor Odikanlu. He is a human rights activist. He's also a very popular legal practitioner, and he's coming down hard on President Tinubu. Professor Odikanlu is suggesting that President Tinubu might not be a Nigerian. He says nobody knows his hometown, nobody knows his nationality, nobody knows his parents. I mean, he's saying that President Tinubu carries a totally different passport from that of a Nigerian. This is a huge deal, and the responses are, oh my gosh, phenomenal. So I'm just going to take you to X now so you see the very first post. A number of publications are jumping on this one, but I'm going to give you a summary of it for starters. And this is it. Human rights lawyer questions Tinubu's education and background records. Odikanlu highlighted gaps in public records, including Tinubu's unknown primary and secondary schools, unclear parentage, the use of a Guinean diplomatic passport. He noted similar past doubts from ex-President Buhari and questioned claims of university attendance. The remarks revived pre-2027 election debates, with supporters calling them recycled, while critics demand answers amid separate reports of odd timelines in officials' INEC documents. Online reactions split between trust concerns and pleas to prioritize governance. So Professor Odikanlu is saying that even the late PMB wasn't too sure about President Tinubu's nationality. It's one of the things, or one of the reasons he hesitated, giving him his full support in 2023. And this is Chidi Odikanlu on Twitter, aka X. This is what he said. Nigeria has a president who was hashtag homeschooled at a home with neither location nor address. The cable is also jumping on this. Let's take a look at the next post now. It is hashtag Professor Odikanlu. And the cable says, quote, "We have a president whose nationality we do not know because he carries a Guinean diplomatic passport, whose genealogy we do not know, and we now understand President Buhari thought the same thing too, whose primary school we do not know, whose secondary school we do not know, who now claims he went to university," end of quote. And of course, that statement is credited to Chidi Odikanlu, ex-chairman of the National Human Rights Commission, NHRC. He was on a program with Jimmy Disu on Nigeria Info. Take a listen, guys.
With their platform service, whether or not you agree with their platforms. Here we are, and we have a president whose nationality we do not know because he carried a Guinean passport,
yes.
Diplomatic passport, whose parentage, whose genealogy we do not know, and we now understand that President Buhari thought the same thing too, whose primary school we do not know, whose secondary school we do not know.
But what if he was taught at home?
And who now claims to have gone to university. If he was homeschooled, as Festus Keyamo posited, famously.
Senior advocate of Nigeria.
Senior advocate of Nigeria, indeed. Then that they should say so.
It should be written in the form. Tutored at home.
Homeschooled should be disclosed. And homeschooled does not mean you don't have a certificate. Right? Homeschool is a preparatory process. After that, you go forward for certification.
Yeah.
Right? But the thing is that he had claimed Government College Ibadan, by the way, in previous forms, and he had claimed other things that proved false. And now they are trying to make up records or to clean up records in order to align with a current eligibility threshold. How do you not go through primary and secondary certification, but you have a university degree? Is it for a school to have produced a president?
No matter how remote the school could have been.
Precisely. I mean, I started off primary school as an internally displaced person after the Nigerian Civil War. And I know the primary school I started off in. If I mention it to you, it's not in any place on the map. But I take pride in it. And they take pride in the fact that I passed through that primary school. I cannot understand.
But what about the
You just listened to Professor Chidi Odikanlu, and of course, he was on a program with Jimmy Disu on Nigeria Info. This is huge. I mean, the professor has stirred up some huge controversy on and offline. It's a huge debate and it's raging right now. So I'm going to take you into the world of netizens. It is for and against, but the voices are really loud. So let me take you back to X now. So you take a look at how netizens are responding. In fact, some netizens are responding with videos. Take, for example, this netizen with the name A New Nigeria is Possible. He goes on to say, who really can confirm the origin? Is it Iragbiji in Oshun, Guinea Conakry, perhaps Senator Dino, Oshun Indigenes, or Balogu Ekokan? He's saying maybe any of these people can tell Nigerians where President Tinubu is really from. And then he put up a couple of videos, but I'd like for us to really take a look at the one he uploaded. This is David Hundeyi. David is an investigative journalist. He's Nigerian, of course. He's also an author, and he had a number of things actually to say about President Tinubu. And this netizen thinks is also sort of related to the matter we are discussing. Why don't you take a listen?
The epitome of that proverb. Someone like him, he's the epitome of that proverb that there are evil men who would for the sake of being king, wouldn't mind the kingdom being burned down if it meant they could rule over the ashes. That's who this guy is. Literally, he does not have any perception or concept of national interest in his head. It doesn't exist. Right? He is not a conventional politician who has some ideology, who rose through the ranks. He was just a career criminal who directly migrated from organized crime into politics. So he has no sort of ideological mooring in any traditional concept of what Nigeria should be, or Africa, or anything like that. So he's all about him. So he has people who are giving him instructions, and in return, he gets to be in power and enjoy the trappings of power. And that's all he wants out of life. That's it. It's really that simple. So for you to take out someone like that, you need to be extremely ruthless and bloody-minded. That is not present in any of the opposition formations, and it's definitely not present in the Nigerian people. Right now, as I like to say, if you listen to Nigerians talk,
that is investigative journalist David Hundeyi. And of course, he's an author, like I said earlier on. He's actually telling Nigerians and whoever cares to listen who he thinks President Tinubu is. It's important for you to know that these views of netizens and, of course, every single respondent on the show are those of the respondents and netizens entirely, and not a reflection of VOP media. That said, let's go back to X as we continue to take a look at the responses of netizens. This is DAG, and he says, going through this route again, you guys failed with this in 2023 when the ground was level. By now, you should have come up with something better than this. No one is interested in your cock and bull story. What is expected of the opposition is telling electorates what you will do differently and projecting alternatives to the current system. Papi says, we have become the butt of jokes across Africa. The other day, I read comments from some South Africans who were calling for Nigerians to leave their country, alleging that we have a president who has been associated with fraud allegations. The optics are simply terrible for Nigeria's international image. Most foreign diplomats stationed here can see the extent to which our moral standards have deteriorated. When integrity, accountability, and ethical conduct appear to have been relegated to the background, it inevitably damages the country's reputation both at home and abroad. One more, And we'll wrap it up as we move on to the next hashtag, which is also sort of related. This is A Day of Nigeria. A Day of Nigeria says he carries a Guinean diplomatic passport. One will think the word diplomatic is self-explanatory. And so A Day of Nigeria is saying this is no biggie. I mean, it is black and white. Well, Baba Oba One says, I am beginning to think that it was Tinubu that has always, or that it is Tinubu that has always orchestrated this thing so that opposition or the opposition will not have anything to nail him with. It goes on to say the same thing every election since Gani Fayemi passed, Gani Fayemi of blessed memory. So Baba Oba One seems to think President Tinubu is the one orchestrating bad publicity so that the opposition will be distracted from really putting forth some real debate or doing some real damage. It's what he thinks. So this is a huge, huge one as we speak at the moment. Like I said earlier on, the next hashtag is related to this because, I mean, this particular story now is branching out with different hashtags. So our next hashtag is hashtag credentials. So a lawyer came on board. He was on Channels TV. And he really talked about this issue. He delved into it, right? So it's important for us to get a legal aspect of, an expert talk about this thing. Netizens are weighing in, of course, but let's not jump the gun. We'll take a look at the first post so you have a feel of how this one is panning out. And then, of course, we'll take a look at the responses. This is hashtag credentials. Let's take a look at the first post. So, a TV clash revives debate on Tinubu's academic records ahead of 2027 elections. During Politics Today, senior advocate Babatunde Ogala defended Tinubu, saying the president would address questions directly and that opposition claims are vote-seeking fabrications. ADC's Kalu countered that Tinubu should simply show his primary and secondary certificates to Nigerians. The exchange followed INEC's release of nomination documents listing only Tinubu's Chicago State University degree with earlier education sections blank, failing online scrutiny and comments from Professor Chidi Odikalu on gaps in Tinubu's nationality, genealogy, and schooling. Ogala stressed constitutional qualifications while noting no court has ruled on forgery claims, highlighting tensions over disclosure as 2027 campaigning intensifies. Channels is jumping on this one as well. Let's take a look at that one now. The next post. This is it. Channels Television says, Tinubu's credentials. There is no judgment of court anywhere in Nigeria, even outside the shores of Nigeria, that has decided on the merit of the issue of the alleged forgery and perjury by Ahmed Tinubu. And that's coming from Kalu, a lawyer and ADC member. But is it true, though? Remember October 2023 when the Supreme Court really weighed into this? But hey, we'll talk about that later on. Let's see how netizens are responding because this is a huge debate. In fact, Atiku Abubakar has also come out to ask President Tinubu to please be fair. Solomon Dalong as well, a former sports minister. Well, yeah, let's go back to X. This is Tunde Alobe, and he says, as of today, the only document presented by Tinubu as evidence of meeting the educational requirement for eligibility, I should say, to contest for president is a controversial Chicago University certificate. That is a fact, and that is instructive. I could hear Tunde saying shaking, but that's not all. Let's take a look at the next one. So SOS Nigeria says, sometimes I wonder why the opposition is not testing this case in court. Let's settle the matter once and for all. So let me take you back to what I told you earlier on about Atiku Abubakar testing this matter in court. And in fact, it went all the way to the Apex Bank talking about the Supreme Court. And let's take a look. I have a sneak peek for you. Let's take a look at the next post so you can understand how that case panned out. This was what the Supreme Court of Nigeria said on the 26th of October 2023. The Supreme Court of Nigeria ruled on Atiku Abubakar's application to present fresh Chicago State University evidence against President Bola Tinubu on October 26, 2023. The Apex Court dismissed Atiku's motion, It ruled that the court lacked jurisdiction to admit new evidence that was not part of the initial petition at the tribunal within the time frame allowed by law. So now it was not about the legitimacy of Atiku's claims, but that it wasn't part of what he had submitted when the case was instituted. So let's take a look at the next post now. So you see how President Tinubu was finally affirmed as Nigeria's president in 2023, because it was a huge battle between himself and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Now, these are the details of the case. The date of judgment, October 26, 2023. Lead Justice, Justice Inyang Okoro, John Okoro. The ruling, well, the application to tender the Chicago State University documents was rejected, and Tinubu's election victory was ultimately affirmed. I mean, this is a story I did myself, well, on another platform. And there definitely were gaps and gray areas, you know, when it comes to President Tinubu's schooling in Chicago University and all, even the name and all of that. But what the Supreme Court said that the Vice President, Atiku Abubakar, hadn't, you know, brought this evidence early enough. So his case was struck out and President Tinubu was affirmed the elected president of Nigeria. So some netizens are saying that, look, if the opposition or the opposition is serious about this, they should just take it to court. Fingers crossed to see how that one pans out, to see if it's even going to happen, for starters. That said, we move on to something else. It's totally different from President Tinubu's credentials, but it's still related to the 2027 elections. So we are talking about hashtag Beavers. You know how INEC says we are going electronic when it comes to voting and all of that. So we hear that, this is from an IT expert, that the Beavers are running on an outdated Android 7. And netizens are like, what? Okay, so I'm going to take you to X now, so you see the very first post, and of course the next one, and then let's take a look at the first one. The first one. Nigeria's Beavers machines run on outdated Android 6 and 7. Oluwafemi Adebayo from Kimpact Development Initiative revealed during an Arise News appearance that INEC materials confirm some Beavers devices use Android 6 or 7, far behind the current Android 17. These old systems lack security updates, raising doubts about reliability amid past glitches like slow uploads and network issues. The concerns hit as INEC plans a 873.78 billion naira budget for 2027 elections, including 209 billion naira for tech, with calls growing for upgrades to build trust ahead of polls like Osun's governorship race. Of course, Osun's governorship race is going to happen this Saturday after this one, and it's a huge talk. It's one of the hashtags. But let's dwell on this matter. It's not rocket science, right? These things can be upgraded, can't they? Well, let's take a look at the next post now. And of course, you're going to find out how netizens are wearing in on it. This is Parallel Facts jumping on this, and it says, despite billions of naira in budget allocations, Beavers used for elections run on outdated Android versions 6 and 7, released since 2016, with multiple vulnerabilities. IT expert Oluwafemi Adebayo. Now, netizens are responding. Let's quickly take a look at the responses. Aloy Uzoekwe says, one hopes that Professor Joash Amukito, who has of late been disturbing us with tales of credible elections, is listening and will act promptly to bring the Beavers machines up to date in line with global standards. But he won't do it, Sha. Well, Aloy seems to think he won't do it, but he's also saying he's hoping he would do it. Well, let's see what happens. Aloy again says, is there no way that can be upgraded between now and the coming general elections? This has to be amplified to get the Electoral Commission to do the needful. And then this is Chakam. Chakam says, to update Android version, now still problem for these people. I mean, you don't need to buy a new device for that. Chakam is saying this is not rocket science. Do it, and do it now. On that note, I take you to Osun Guba election. That's our next hashtag. I told you we were going to do it, yeah? It looks like Davido has become the man of the moment. All of a sudden, he's going all out. Have you watched the movie, the whole 9 years? It's something like that. He's going the whole 9 years. for his uncle being the governor of of Osun State, and his name, of course, is Ademola Adeleke. He is fighting tooth and nail for his comeback. I mean, not too long ago, the EFCC, anti-graft agency EFCC, had decided to freeze the account of Osun State because it felt that there were illegitimate activities going on, that 11 billion naira had been removed, removed from the account. I mean, without due process. And there was so much ado and uproar from the public. And you're like, oh my God, this is politically motivated. They don't want Ademola Adeleke to become governor because he's running on the platform of Accord Party, not the APC. Even though Ademola Adeleke has come to say that they've endorsed President Tinubu to run as president, but he doesn't want to be a part of the APC. So just shortly after the EFCC had posted a no debit order in First Bank, where Osun State has its account, shortly after that, the president asked the EFCC to reverse the order. Now, Nigerians came out to say that, look, you can't do it. I mean, this is supposed to be an independent, institution. Well, the president said that there was a court order, that the EFCC obtained a court order, and that he was asking the EFCC chairman to go to the court and tell them they don't want to pursue the case anymore. But the EFCC never affirmed having a court order to freeze the account of Osun State. Osun State actually said there was no court order and that it was illegitimate for the EFCC to have done what it did in the first place. And so they are suing the anti-graft agency, EFCC, now for damages. They've gone to court. That is a totally different kettle of fish, though. Right now, Davido, the governor's nephew, is campaigning. And he was in Osun State today, and he drew some massive crowd. I'm going to be showing you a sneak peek of that in a short while. But let's take a look at the first post now. It is hashtag Osun Guba election. The first post. So, Davido calls for peace ahead of Osun gubernatorial election. Afrobeat star Davido urged Osun people to avoid intimidation and ensure a free, fair election on August 15, where incumbent Governor Ademola Adeleke seeks re-election on the Accord Party ticket against APC challengers. Supporters praise Adeleke's record and rally for his second term, while opposition figures like Edo State's Governor Monday Okpolo push for change. Amid rising tensions and security presence at events, voices from both sides stress voting over fighting to let residents shape their future. Davido went on to put up a post on X today, I think about 4 p.m. today or so. Let's take a look at that post that Davido put up. Davido says, let us reject violence, intimidation, provocation, and every act capable of disrupting the peace of our communities. Your vote is your voice, and your choice deserves to be respected. Let us once again show the world that the people of Osun are committed to democracy, unity, and peaceful coexistence. Let the Osun people decide. Free and fair. Vote, not fight. Accord is the party. Ademola Adeleke is the choice. So what Davido is doing is, both on and offline, he's vocal. He's going all out, like I said. He attached a video to that post. Let's take a look.
Our vote does not mean violence. Do not fight, do not destroy property, and do not put your life or anyone else's life in danger. Strength is in our numbers, our unity, and our peaceful participation. Osun belongs to all of us. Let us come out, vote, protect the integrity of our votes through lawful means, and allow the people's choice to prevail. But let us...
Popular Nigerian singer Davido there campaigning for his uncle. Now, there are responses. Let's take a look at what netizens are saying. It is hashtag Osun Guba election. So, Oche Emmanuel Foundation says, the people of Osun State have shown that they love their governor. He is a dancing governor that is very responsive to the people. The APC government may use every government apparatus, especially the security and INEC, to circumvent the will of Osun, of the people of Osun, but they have to be resolute and firm to defend their franchise. The people do not deserve a stooge. Joseph Sebastian says, make we see who go follow you drag matter today again. I think Joseph is talking about what happened yesterday when there were so many people coming against Davido. It was a lot of people for and a lot of people against. In fact, we saw the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodima's aide, attacking Davido because Davido had appealed to Hope Uzodima, who is leading the delegation, the APC delegation, campaign delegation, to please let the people vote freely and fairly. He also said Chioma, his wife, is from Imo, so they share bonds beyond politics and all. Another person that came on hard on Davido's uncle was the governor of Edo State, who was campaigning for his colleague and his APC colleague. He came out to say that the governor of Osun State, Davido's uncle, Ademola Adeleke, is always dancing. Before he does anything, he will dance, and that they wanted someone who will not be dancing so much. But so many netizens came out to say, look, the people love him. He dances, he performs. He's paying their salaries, even though, monies were withdrawn from his state. So, hey, that was a huge debate that went on yesterday. I think it's one of the things that last netizen is referring to. But it's one more reaction I'd like for us to take a look at. Yes, thank you. Concept says, before Governor Adeleke became the governor of Osun State, APC had run the state to the ground. Civil servants and pensioners were being owed. The most pathetic aspect was that civil servants were paid half salaries. When Adeleke assumed office, he ensured transparency in the finances of the state. He blocked all the loopholes, and there was enough money to pay workers their full salaries. Osun workers received their full salaries as and when due. The era of public workers receiving half salaries ended with Aregbesola and Oyetola. Tinubu is using state power to help his party win in Osun State. Well, he recently said all is fair in politics. Osun has a choice. Let's see if they can make an informed decision. Let's take a look at the fourth paragraph again. Osun workers receive their full salaries as and when due. The era of public workers receiving half salaries ended with Aregbesola and Oyetola. Well, it is true they were receiving half salaries. And take a look at those names. Then former governors Aregbesola and Oyetola were both members of the APC when they were at the helms in Osun, even though Aregbesola has now defected to the ADC and happens to be the national secretary. So it's a huge deal. We wait to see. Like I said earlier on, the Saturday after this one is when this thing is going to go down in Osun State. Fingers crossed to see how that one pans out. That said, away from politics, away from all of that, it's an irony. We have one superstar, Davido, campaigning for his uncle. It's all about family, uniting to fight for his family. But this next hashtag I'm going to bring to you is about another superstar that is going head to head with members of his family, including his own twin brother. And it's a classic tale of things that are falling apart. I'm talking about hashtag Peter Okoye. He's also known as Mr. P. Once upon a time, there was a group called P Square. Now, Mr. P was the other half of the P Square, while Rude Boy was the other half. Now, when they were together as a group, they were known as P Square. There was no Mr. P and Rude Boy. It was when they split, they decided to go solo, Rude Boy and Mr. P. But it has become bitter. The feud in the family. Their mom passed, and after that, it looked like the center couldn't hold anymore. Their elder brother, Jude Okoye, is smack dab in the middle of this whole thing. Jude Okoye managed the twin boys when they were singing and when they were together. But then again, they got married. Things began to fall apart, and they took each other to court. And this time around, Peter Okoye is publicly falling apart, online, sobbing. Oh my gosh, it is a huge one, I can tell you. And he's asking his brothers actually, to leave his wife Lola out of it. At some point, he said Lola was the one that took care of himself and his brother when they were in Jos, trying to make ends meet, trying to become popular. He said they would take a night bus from Jos to Lagos just to perform until Lola now said, it's enough. You guys are not going to be taking buses late at night anymore. Let's book flights for you, because, I mean, she saw that their future was bright. In fact, hey, let me not simonize. I've got Mr. P here narrating this particular one. Let's take a look at the very first video, because I got a number of them for you. Take a listen to Mr. P.
Whole family thing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So sometimes, like I said, I be that kind of person. Nobody expected my marriage or last year, you know. They didn't expect, despite the whole family thing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So sometimes, like I said, I be that kind of person. I go out there and create my own happiness. So guys, you want to get married, marry your best friend. If your wife not be your best friend, don't marry because everybody get married. You know? Remember, I married this woman before, after having 2 kids. Yeah. I would have just said, I don't want that one kid. I did. After then, I said, so I did different. I'm a different kind of person. And being someone who has been there for us, everybody know, she was there. Yeah. Like, she was the one booking shows for us when we were in Jos. We take night bus. She changed us, could they fly. People don't know about that one. So, I mean, she has been there. She's, like I said, she's my friend.
So Peter Okoye is talking about Lola, his wife, who he calls his best friend, because there have been so many allegations that she is in the middle of the bitter feud between both brothers. It's huge, right? In fact, it is important to note that Rude Boy, who was married to another woman, had divorced her and got married to another person. And so, like you heard Peter say that they didn't even know his marriage was going to last, but he's been staying so strong behind his wife, beside his wife, with his wife. He's been defending her all the way. And she's also been supporting him. It's beautiful to watch the both of them. This is not me taking sides, right? I'm just telling you as it is, black and white. Now, Yaba Left Online is jumping on this now. And of course, they posted a number of videos. But let's take a look at the post Yaba Left Online put on X, just to launch us to the videos I'm going to be showing you. It is hashtag Peter Okoye. So, Yaba Left Online says, quote, "My mom felt my pain and told me my brothers will apologize to me. After a few weeks, Henry apologized. Tony did. But the ones I live with, Paul and Jude, never did. Waited for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, till our mom died. That apology was never made, and our mom told them to do it." End of quote. Peter Okoye continues to call out his brothers, Jude and Rude Boy, as he reveals what his wife, Lola, went through. I mean, this tale has gone up to part 8. It's huge. It has become like a seasonal movie or something. This is not to make light of a very serious matter. So let me take you to one of the videos that Peter Okoye uploaded. And of course, credit goes to Yaba Left Online for that. I got a couple, I told you. Take a listen.
Defamatory, whatever, on Peter's wife. Please, the first person to send that thing to me on my DM will win 1 million naira.
Jude Okoye. Now, you see, statement like this, that you're going to offer 1 million naira, this way I feel pity for Paul. Guys, I can guarantee you guys, Jude, we all know. Jude, you use Paul as a decoy. Yes. You try to manipulate Paul to say some things online so that at the end of the day, you're not setting up Paul for dragging. Now look at what you just said. Meanwhile, look at the innocent post Ola posted to wish I and Paul happy birthday. That's Paul's response. Now look at Jude's comment underneath. There has never been a time Paul have ever had maybe a physical altercation, argument, insult, on Lola. But on Jude's side is opposite way. Jude have threatened Lola in front of Lola and myself. Jude have insulted Lola in front of me. And I wanted to hide this governor. It was actually Governor Imoke who invited us over for peace talk. And let me tell you what the man did that day. By the time we arrived, he looked at Paul. Paul started talking. Paul finished talking. He said, Jude, your turn. Jude finished talking. Let me tell you what that governor did that very day. He said, Peter, you're not going to say anything. I thought it was like a team work, like, Governor, I'm not going to say anything. Why? They've all said their own side of the story. He said, Peter, I don't think you need to say something. I said, why? He looked at me and said, Peter, Paul, if I were you guys, do you know what your problem is? It's this Jude. If I were you guys, fire him. And I said, oh. That was when Jude started saying, hey, you know what? As it is, they should tell Lola. Anyway, he says Lola, he's going to shoot her. Jude, you have so many times, countless times, insulted Lola in front of me, in front of people, in front of saying that tata. In fact, I don't want to even say this now. What if I tell you guys that Jude have insulted my son? Jude called my son a bastard in front of me and Lola. And yes, I will tell you guys this short story. Maybe I wanted to hide it. Some years back, when my girlfriend then Lola was pregnant, I didn't want the news to break me. I decided to break the news. Because then, there was too many baby mama of so celebrity, baby mama, so celebrity gave birth, so celebrity impregnated. I didn't want that to happen to me. We went for a Sound City Awards. We won 3 awards that day. When we were leaving the venue, the paparazzi, the media people gathered us. Of course, we held the awards. We were having more like an interview. Next thing I did was, they said, well, where are we dedicating the awards? I picked up the first award. I said, this award is for God. I am almighty, I praise God with that one. Second one award, I said, I dedicate this award to the fans and to everyone who has supported us. The last one, I say, this one is for the mother of my unborn child and my incoming son. Next thing, Paul and Jude walked away from the media setting. They picked the car, turned around, and entered the car. We drove. Left the venue, towards headed to 3rd Main, and Jude pulled over and said, what was that for? I said, what's the problem? Now, do you know how this thing is going to ruin our career? I said, how ruin our career?
So, that is the genesis of the problem. It's a long one. You just might want to check it out online. But from what we hear Peter Okoye say, Jude is responsible for the feud between Paul and Peter. You heard what I heard, right? I mean, he's saying that Jude is setting up Paul to be dragged and also to be bitter towards his problem. But based on all Peter has said, Lola is just Jude's #1 problem. And Peter says he will protect Lola till thy kingdom come. There's another video. Let's take a sneak peek at it before we show you something else. Pella is in this one. The next one after this one. But hey, Peter again. Let's take a listen to what Peter has to say. Not this one. Let's take a listen. Yeah, let's do it.
The next Lola came. She called me that she's at the gate. I went outside. While Lola sat in the living room, I didn't see anybody in the house. I didn't see any of my brothers, the pastors. I didn't I expect to see them in the living room where Lola was. I didn't see any of them. Just let me go check. And I opened the door. In that my master bedroom where my mom was, everybody was seated. Even our firstborn, the one that is older than the next person before Jude, that lives in Lagos, was there. Tony, my brother, was there. The pastors were there. Paul and Jude were there. When I came, I said, okay, Lola is around. They said, tell her to come. The way I was walking to go and call Lola, I was uncomfortable. But I didn't say anything. I brought Lola. Enter the room. That was my room. Master bedroom, which there's a bed and there's a couch. Nobody stood up to say, hey, Lola, sit down. Lola just entered. Good morning, ma. Everybody get it. Nobody even cared to say, Lola, come and sit down here or anything. Nobody. I and Lola sat on the floor in my room. I and Lola sat on the floor. Next thing my mom said, young woman, we the Okoye families here have decided you should leave our son alone. I said, Mom, what's going on? Next thing. Now, because few days before that moment, me and Lola had a little quarrel, as a couple quarrel. Lola was looking at me thinking, maybe I planned it to exit the relationship. Lola just said, babe, what's going on? I said, Lola, come on. I said, Mom, what's going on? Next thing Jude just said, leave our brother alone. I look at Jude's face. It is like Jude said, it is like carry water from mouth. I'm like, hey, can anybody? Everyone there tried to calm Jude down. Next thing, Jude just stretched his hand. Because in that my room, I have my son's picture when he was 3 months old by the side of the bed. Jude stretched his hand and picked it and looked at it. Guess what came out of Jude's mouth? For those who understand Igbo, as the way you run now, bastard. All Lola heard was bastard. Lola just said, did he just call her? I saw the pastor. I said, Lola, I was just trying to calm Lola down. Lola started crying. Guess what happened? They pushed Lola out of the house. Yes. I was trying to hold Lola. By the time I would tell Lola, stay down, stay down. Lola, calm down. Lola just opened the door. I opened the door to talk. As I opened the door, I didn't even know that Lola came with our son, with the nanny in the car. Lola still brought our son in the car. That means she was like, to her, like, okay, even if our mom, if the child cannot enter the house, her mom can come outside and see the baby in the car.
This is a huge one. It's also another lengthy one. So you want to check it out online for the continuation. It's making me go emotional. So Lola apparently has scaled a mountain to stay together with her husband, who has stood solidly beside her. And it looks like the marriage is working. Peter Okoye has taken his side. He's saying, look, it's Lola and I and our family. Nobody can do anything about it. There's another video of him crying. We'll have to do that some other time. He actually fell apart. He was sobbing because he said Lola went through a very turbulent pregnancy and still his family members were persecuting her. I'm waiting to see how this one unfolds. I didn't bring reactions or responses from netizens because this is unfolding. We'll continue with this next week, apparently. But take a look at what Peter Okoye had to say when he was with Pella on a show. He said that if his brother needs to be saved, he will save his brother. Now, it's a trick question that Pella put to him. Quickly take a listen to it.
Save the person. Shark will tear him into pieces. No, Shark will share the others. You are about to rescue one person.
Mm-hmm.
3 people are drowning in a pond. 3 people are drowning
in the pond.
Davido,
Mm-hmm.
Whiskey, and and rude boy. Why now? He said don't answer that question.
No, it's okay.
I don't like it. A rude boy. Who are you saving? You have to save one person. If you do not save the person, shark will tear him into pieces. No, shark will share the others. You have to save one. Please, you have to save. Who are you saving? The savior.
So you guys really want me to answer that question?
That question is reasonable.
I'll save Rubo.
What if?
Trust Fela. By the way, Fela just got married to his sweetheart, his heartthrob, Jarvis. That was Fela making light of this whole thing. And he was very happy because he said, even though there's been this whole controversy raging and surrounding Rude Boy and Peter, that Peter will still choose to save his brother. His wife Fela was jubilating. We'll continue to track this story. And of course, as events unfold, we'll keep you posted. And this is how much we can take today. I need to say thanks to everyone who contributed to making the show a success. But the biggest thanks actually goes to you for watching. If you liked it, keep a date again with us for another edition of Hashtag. Same time, same station next week. Be sure to enjoy your weekend. Until I see you again, I am Vivian Oguche. Bye for now.
Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us.
Yes, obviously everybody knows the game is beautiful and that's why I love sports. My name is Kizzy K. You're welcome to my republic. But remember, there can never be a transfer without a window. Just like there can never be a deep thinking without a Pep Guardiola in football. You can't say tennis without talking about Djokovic. So why not give me attention on the show so I can run your race on the TV like Lewis Hamilton Formula 1 star. Don't forget, when God have mercy on you, you can achieve your goals like Cristiano Ronaldo. I am a proud Nigerian, and right here, we talk NFF. For every sports update, commentaries, live interviews on the game, we got you on this, because right here at Voice of the People TV, the Sports Public Show has got everything just for you to be part of it. I love the beautiful game, and that's why Kizzy K loves sports.
The rains are here. They bring relief, green fields, and fresh water. But they can also bring danger if we are not careful. Rule 1. Avoid flood waters. Never walk, wade, or drive through moving flood water. Fast-moving water can sweep you off your feet, and that water may hide open drains, sharp objects, or live electric cables. Rule 2. Stay away from weak structures and slopes. Heavy rain can weaken buildings, walls, and hillsides. Avoid sitting on the old buildings, billboards, or trees. If your area is prone to landslides, report cracks or soil movement to emergency agencies immediately. Rule 3. Protect yourself from lightning and accidents. Stay indoors during thunderstorms. Avoid open fields, tall trees, and metal objects. If you must travel, drive slowly. Use your headlights and never use an umbrella near power lines or while riding. And Rule 4. Stay healthy. Clear your gutters to stop mosquitoes that causes malaria. Boil or filter your drinking water. Keep food covered to avoid cholera and typhoid. And wash your hands often. This rainy season, Stay alert, stay prepared, stay alive. This message is brought to you by Voice of the...
When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Across several regions of Nigeria, communities continue to grapple with insurgency, banditry, and kidnappings, raising fresh concerns over whether increased defense spending is truly translating into improved safety for citizens. The security crisis shows no clear signs of abating in 2026. Reports indicate that no fewer than 1,091 lives have been lost to violent attacks. Additionally, about 3.7 million Nigerians have been displaced, now scattered across nearly 3,900 camps nationwide. In recent developments, at least 23 people were killed and 108 others injured following a series of suspected suicide bombings in Maiduguri, one of the deadliest attacks in the Borno state capital in recent times. These troubling figures continue to raise a critical question: what can be done to end insecurity in Nigeria? Responding, Nigeria's Vice President Senator Kashim Shettima restated the federal government's resolve to defeat terrorism, declaring that those behind recent attacks in the country will be decisively confronted. As Voice of the People TV, we sought the opinion of Nigerians on this growing concern.
The federal government, that's one of their major role in keeping the safety of Nigerians, as in they have to be very, very, very active in keeping the safety of Nigerians, because that's one of their major priority. So, and again, as we individual, you have to be very, very vigilant. If you